Welcome back to Crosshair here on the GDQ Hotfix, the show that features runs with William. First-person shooters, third-person shooters, shmups, bullet hells, lasers, rockets, grenades, William, and shotgun shells. If it's got William in it, it's got a home here at Crosshair. You're not mishearing me. I'm saying William. It'll make sense later. Don't worry. My name is Dangerous. I'm your host. And if you've got a run that you think qualifies for Crosshair or any of our other GDQ Hotfix shows, head on over to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix, fill out that run submission form, and you just may end up on a future episode of the GDQ Hotfix. Folks, if you look to my left, your right, you'll notice that we're going in a little bit different direction with today's episode. This is our very last stream before SGDQ, and since it's the last one, I thought we'd do something a little different today. Normally, Crosshair is the show that features runs with bullets, so today's episode is titled Runs with Bullets? Look, if Do All the Things can do an episode called Do None of the Things and feature all low percent runs, I can do an episode that features runs with bullets. So we've got a fun one today. We're going to be wrapping up with Super Mario Odyssey with a very nice guy that I met back at AGDQ 2025. Dangers is going to be here to wrap up the show. Before that, Ad129, who was here on Hotfix less than 24 hours ago, is already back again to show off Banjo-Tooie. But we're going to start today's episode with a good one. The bullet for this one is the web you shoots out of this hand. It's webs or bullets. My show, my rules. Anyway, Spider-Man 2000 is here with Sap. Sap, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How's your week going into this this run?
It's going pretty good. I can't lie. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited.
You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. So you've also got some commentators here if they want to introduce themselves. In whichever order they want.
Yeah, I guess I was
in shadow.
It's always an awkward moment. Yeah, I'm like, who talks first? Okay, I guess it's me. Hello, everyone. I'm Spyron. I also run this game along with Sap. We both run on hardware. Shout out to the hardware crew. So I'm excited to be here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm Shadow of Eden. I also run this game. However, I run the emulator version. Some would say they're comparable. But yeah, happy to be here as well. It's gonna be a great run.
Indeed. All right, we are ready to go then. Whenever you want to give us a countdown, let's get this going.
Alrighty, so just want to mention that I am on the PS1 version, and there are other ports. There's the Dreamcast and N64, and there's also even a PC port. Runs pretty quick, about 30 minutes. It's a good time. A lot of skips. So if you like that stuff, just hold on to your seat because they come back to back sometimes. I'm gonna go on go. You can start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
So to start off, you're going to notice a lot of movement, swing, like you're going to notice a lot of movement throughout the entire run. So to begin with, you'll notice that sometimes I'll swing and then I'll cancel my swing using the jump to get a second swing in just a slightly faster than where if you were to just hold it down. So we're just going to move through this level. This one's just a swing level, and then move on. We're gonna go up to our first hero that we'll meet in this entire story, which is Black Cat, and she's gonna ask us to give her some help with this bank robbery going on. Go ahead and go up here, and then I'm just gonna go and deal with my first group of enemies.
It's important to note at this point, you'll see two of Spider-Man's web moves that he can do, which is a web ball and a web dome. You've just seen a web dome there, there's a web ball. So technically that also, I believe, counts as bullets. That's more so bullets than maybe the just regular webbing. So we already count. We already validated.
He uses bullets, the thugs use the bullets. There's bullets.
We get shot by bullets as well in this game, so that is true. So it's all
So it qualifies.
Exactly. We win.
So here we got our first skip. Spider-Man can kind of just mash himself through the wall sometimes. Yep. Right there.
Spider-Man superpower.
Doing that, I kind of just deload the level to allow me to get through the level a lot easier. Right now, you see me attacking and kind of swinging by these people because part of the level's objective is to save hostages, and I need to either hit them or just get near them to save those hostages. But that one's pretty quick. do that deload, and I can move on to stop the bomb.
Yeah, the best thing about this level is there are hostages to save. We don't care though. We're just going to ignore them all completely. I'm going to swing straight over the top of them. And there's a lovely door to a bank vault that we're going to enter, not by our usual methods of opening doors. No, Spider-Man does not need to do that. He can just ignore doors completely, and he'll just zip right through. And there he goes.
There you go. Goes through the wall. And then I can just go ahead and get this level on a lot faster. Usually you have to go through and clear all of the hostages before you can even get that door open. I'll go in here, empty the... stop the hostages from... or stop the bank robbers from, you know, blowing up the entire bank. Then just throw the bomb in here, hit this button, and we can move on to the next level.
Yeah, the good thing about glitching through the door like we did was that that bank vault door that you saw there that existed that didn't exist previously, that doesn't spawn in because we glitched through the door, and so because of that we can just throw the bomb straight in as opposed to having to casually. What you do is you'd open the vault door, throw the bomb in, close the vault door. We can just do it with one hit of a button. It's very, very nice.
So from here we just got another swing level. Right now I'm on my way to another famous character that a lot of Spider-Man people know, and that would be J. Jonah Jameson, unfortunately. He can be kind of a pain in this game due to RNG, and I'll let Spire and Shadow explain that one. But do you kind of want to explain the story going on a bit? I think it might be a good time for that.
Yeah, so I can take the story. So at this point, some things are going on. We missed the cutscene at the start of the game. But essentially, Spider-Man's been accused of a crime, and now he's just kind of going through his day. And then now we're all basically, you know, solve some crime, and now we're trying to save Jonah.
Yeah, speaking of saving Jonah, this is, as Sap said, the RNG part of the run. This is where you'll see another one of Spider-Man's web moves, which is the web gloves, that helps us deal some extra damage. We do a very specific combo of kick, kick, punch to deal the maximum amount of damage to Scorpion. We'll use that on all boss fights, and excellently, Sap has hugely executed what we call the Scorpion 1 cycle, where you'll see at the end of that, J. Jonah Jameson tried to run into the second room. That triggers a cutscene normally that's unskippable. So if you don't defeat Scorpion before that happens, a long cutscene plays where Scorpion then follows him and smashes through the door, and then you've got to chase him into the second room essentially to beat him. We skip all that entirely by making sure that we kill Scorpion before that even occurs.
So here we just got another swing level, except this time you got a lot of bullets coming at you. Helicopter shooting at you the whole time. The whole time you're getting blasted at by every guard you're passing, and not to mention the missiles exploding everything. I don't know why NYPD is blowing up every building in sight just to get Spider-Man, but he is doing that. I guess it's justifiable. He is
valid response. Yeah, true.
We're gonna move on to missile attack. It's a pretty quick level, but casually it is very long and extremely loud. So bear with this one. There's a couple spots where I can use R1 to zip straight up to the ceiling above me. So I'm gonna climb up to a specific part of these walls and use the zip, so I don't have to climb up the entire thing. So usually, casually, most people would just, you know, climb the level and just deal with it, and it takes a lot longer than it should. But
yeah,
we're gonna get through this because it's too loud.
One of those levels, definitely, having come back to it now speedrunning, where as a child it took so long, and looking at it now, it's like, stupid level, alright, I wish I knew that.
That is certainly one of those like childhood levels you look back on and you're like, I remember this one. We got another one, Building Top Chase, I believe is the name. It's the level I hate the most.
My level, me too.
I do not like this level, not for any particular reason. There's not even any skips. It's just long, and there's a lot of weird zips, like right here, me zipping to this billboard and onto the building. It just, there's a lot of room for error just because of how weird the swinging can get on this level. But
yeah, I guess
through it nicely.
Yeah, I guess to explain the swinging a little bit better, obviously you'll notice that Spider-Man's not attaching himself to anything when he swings, he just attaches himself to the sky basically. But the way the web swinging targeting works essentially is Spider-Man has to be in range of something to swing to, whether that be a wall, a floor, a ceiling, or whatever. And so because of that, that can sometimes not always be super consistent. You can swing in one direction and Spider-Man will decide, oh, the thing I'm going to swing to is the floor instead of the wall, which is what you want. So it can be a bit random. It's good fun though.
On to my next, one of my favorite skips. We call it the Flying Spider. Get in a weird spot over here, and you can just go into targeting mode and do something to make Spider-Man just fly
away.
And I'm flying him straight into the level trigger, and we can wipe that level clean. It's a very interesting one. Spyron might be able to explain that one a little better, but we're moving on to Teleparker. Shadow, if you want to take this one.
Absolutely. So for Teleparker, the name basically implies what the trick is going to be. We're basically going to see Spider-Man kind of teleport towards like towards the end of the level. So basically, we're gonna totally fine. Didn't even happen. Basically, there are certain like death corners in this game where you can just like hit a corner and the game will shoot you down into the green gas, which I did not speak about in the story. But essentially on this building, you can kind of spam like the web zip button and hit a death corner, but it sends you the other way. So we end up flying like horizontally, just like Sap, just like that. Easy. And boom, just like that. Peter Parker's teleporting. It's transmission.
Weird. It's like just a weird pixel you can randomly hit that just sends you forward. Can't really explain it. It's in a lot of places, but most every other place just sends you straight to your death.
Yeah.
Then here we are.
We don't get any of those.
Fighting Rhino. In the story mode, he beats the crap out of Black Cat. Black Cat is not doing okay, and we're gonna take our revenge.
Yeah, so the strat for this, you'll see that Sap's just spamming these web domes. So by holding down the web dome button, which is triangle and right on the D-pad, that's what caused the web domes to spawn initially. If you also though hold down an attack button, it'll essentially just do that where it continuously spawns and pops them off repeatedly until you let go of the buttons. By jumping inside of Rhino's character model, the deeper you are inside the character model, the more damage it deals, and so ideally you want to try and put yourself in a position where you're dealing as much damage to him as you can and you wipe him out fairly quickly.
There are other strats for taking him out, but that one is probably the easiest to learn in terms
I would say so. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Here we got just an auto scroller. I gotta chase Venom, but naturally as speedrunners do things, we do it a little too fast. And if I go too fast, I can cause soft locks, or I can even lose Venom because it thinks I'm too far behind, but I'm actually too far ahead. So we're gonna go up here, and we're gonna hit this little trigger right here. He'll say, "Come on, Parker," wait for him to get here, and then I'll swing up, because if I go a little earlier than that, Spider-Man will go ahead into this cutscene, but Venom won't, and so Venom gets left behind, and the auto-scroller fails. It's a little weird soft lock, but what can you do? You can't screw with cycles.
No, it seems not. When that happens, you'll see on the kind of left corner there on the building kind of construction site, you'll see another Venom there, and that's what, like Sap said, the bar at the top is tied to that Venom, and not the Venom that then jumps out at the end of this cutscene. So it's very annoying. One of those things where you actually do have to slow down, which obviously we don't want to be doing when we're speedrunning, but that is life sometimes.
I think another quick little call out is the cool little Spidey armor that Sap picked up.
Oh right, yeah, Spidey armor. It's a classic costume, and
awesome looking.
You can pick it up in a couple different spots, but in the run, that's about the only spot you'll actually see it. We'll get through this level pretty quickly, and then we're gonna go ahead and fight Venom for the first time.
Yeah, fun little thing on this level is obviously Sap's got there a bit earlier than Venom actually got there as well, so the cutscene kind of plays out. He'll start talking, but the rest of the cutscene just plays, and you just kind of leave him behind, which is good fun.
Right. One thing I want to mention about this game specifically, not really speedrun related, but Venom, by far my favorite Venom in all Spider-Man. He's
absolutely
hilarious. He just has he's a really good character, and probably my favorite Venom out of anything Spider-Man related. Unfortunate that we don't get to see a lot of his cutscenes though, because we're trying to do it fast.
Yeah, that's where a lot of kind of the I think most people would recognize the Venom from when they played it younger through those cutscenes, because the cutscenes are really quite iconic. So yes,
Yep,
it's a shame that we're not going to see most of those. But I urge you all to go play this and
Yep.
experience it for yourself.
Whether it's casually or speedrun, it's definitely worth it. It's such a good time, and you know, this game lives up to the hype even to this day. One of the first Spider-Man games to really capture that feel, and it's got a good place in my heart. So now that we're done with Venom, we're gonna go and head and do some sewer nonsense, because Venom kidnapped your wife. Pretty classic of him, honestly. And he put her in the deepest part of the sewers for some reason. So we're just gonna go through here and deal with a bunch of Lizard Man's mutant lizards as we're trying to go save MJ.
Yeah, so Venom, the anti-hero, I guess, in this one, where he's acting because he's doing this essentially because he thinks that you did the robbery that occurred at the very beginning of the game, the thing that Spider-Man was framed for. So he thinks he's the good guy in this situation. He's like, oh, I'll lure Spider-Man into my underground sewer lair, wherever that is, for some reason, and then I'll take him out, and I'll be the hero. But
which
obviously,
isn't even
that's
his,
not
by the way. It's Lizard Man.
Yeah, you just kind of stole that from him, I guess. That's fair.
One of
Fair
the
enough.
level is literally called Lizard Maze, and Venom's just parading through it.
They're all pals.
Oh, close. So what you're seeing Sap do here is, so this level we refer to it as God pipes, colloquially, if I can say that word, where those pipes normally, casually, what it tells you to do is you use the targeting mode that you've seen a few times, where you can aim at something specific and press the swing button to swing to that object. What we can do as speedrunners is, because we know about the web kind of cancelling, we try and swing around the pipes ourselves manually in a way that then allows us to get to the end of the level without wasting loads of time crawling and sticking to things.
What you're gonna see me here do here is hopefully let this lizard climb inside of
Hell yeah.
my. Try not to say that too weird. Trying to get inside of my little hitbox here, and then we call that inside the homie. There's another method. You can hug the homie, and that's just if you do a grab, and you just hold on to one of these lizards the whole time. You just hold triangle and circle to grab him. You just hold him the whole time, and just let this auto scroller play through. I'm no hands right now. I'm just letting it happen.
That's the best part of the run, by sure.
Yeah, this is the best part of the run. It's like halfway through a little bit, and you know, you get to get up and get a water or something, have a meal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is like the calm before the storm as well, because after this point we have a skip literally every single level, apart from like the boss levels, but every single level after this involves some sort of skip. So if you want to go for those fast times, you've got to be hitting those skips. So this is like a nice little moment of brief relaxation and respite before it gets a bit wild.
I think it's important to call out too that even though the first 2 minutes of this level is just chilling, getting up, stretching your leg, bathroom break, there is like actual strats at the end. You'll see Sap take out the lizards. So there actually is tech in this level that we'll see towards the end in order to kind of finish out the rest of the level as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so you see the bar at the bottom. Usually the bar will end once the train gets to the end. Well, I'm going to try and get the level to end a little bit sooner than that by just killing the lizards at a very specific time. We're going to do it about, what is it, 3/4 of the way through? Maybe a little longer than that. I usually wait till the third to last big tick, which is, you'll see like those lines on the bar. So like right about now is when I'll start going. I'll walk over here and then I'll just turn around, and I'll just spam web ball. Get rid of all the lizards.
Yeah, so the lizards will keep spawning up until a certain point. For whatever reason, they'll just stop early if you time this right, and the level will actually end before that train hits the end of the track, which is what we're trying to do.
If I time it right. We're gonna try that now, though.
Interesting.
I think I got it. It should end a little bit early. Maybe not. Okay, yeah, usually
just about.
Nice.
just about. Usually it does go a little longer once it hits the end, but that was a little later of a skip, but it still worked. Here we go to sewage plant. This level is usually like, if you're not doing any skips, solid 3-minute level. If you're playing it casually. I don't really know how long it is, but we can skip it by just doing that.
Ooh!
Wow.
Bro,
Oh my
nice
goodness.
move.
Let's go. So,
Usually, you can't just do the swing through. You actually have to go in targeting mode and aim, but I
That
did
was
it.
so
Let's not
clean.
We're good.
ignore that, yeah.
We're good.
Nah, keep it moving.
We're-
Next level.
We're good. So we're going on to hidden switches, right? This one's also really fast. This one's usually you got to go around and press 4 buttons and kill some lizards, but I'm just going to do this. There we go. Climb through the wall and just
Oh man,
hit the
you're not
level
kidding.
trigger.
Calm
Yeah.
before the storm was right.
And then here we got tunnel crawl. If you want to
Scary level,
explain that.
this. Yeah, scary level. So the way this level works is Sap's going to now crawl through this tunnel, funnily enough, and the water below is dangerous. Spider-Man can't swim in this game, and so if we touch the water at all, Spider-Man will drown. We have to restart the level. So what we're going to try and do is these roof zips that you can see Sap did there, where you press the jump button to fall, you press the swing button to try and hit a swing. If you don't hit a swing or a zip, you've got to press immediately afterwards the R1 button to zip back up. If you do it well, like Sap just did, excellently there, you'll be able to do it in one cycle before the water rises again. Casually, you'd wait in that middle kind of bit area where it dips up, but excellently showed by Sap there, you can do it in the one cycle if you're good.
And that's
Also,
not
remember
all.
that time where we had Spider-Man fly? We're going to do it again.
Hell yeah. There
We're
you
going to
go.
go up this wall, and then go over the wall. Just drop down,
Oh my god.
and then boom, hit the level trigger. Usually you have to go back behind a hallway, hit a lever, go all the way down, hit another lever. This one also, you have to turn around, hit a couple levers, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh yes, I'm glad you're showing this off. Excellent.
We're going to do Fetty's Fall.
What?
So
we go.
basically Spider-Man's hitbox is just a 2D
Yeah,
box.
it's nice, dude.
and it allows you to
Huge.
just slip through. It's pretty interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Fun fact: this was found originally by the name Fetty Fob, Willie Fetty in the chat. He discovered that accidentally in the second game, actually the sequel to the Central Electro, where he just fell through the floor like randomly, and it was determined that it's actually on like a seam where two different like meshes like met on the floor. So where that happened, you can see there was like the grating and then the like solid floor, because there's for some reason just a slight gap in between those because of the way it's been programmed and built. You can just fall through. It's brilliant.
So here we're actually in Lizard Maze, and if I were to take a little detour, you can find the Lizard Man, and he's just chilling. But right now we're gonna try and get through this wall, so we can move
Nice.
quicker through the maze. And sometimes some runners will take a right there and hit a different way, so they can hit the end of the level. But right here we're gonna go this way and go through the wall again, because if we do it this way, we skip an unskippable cutscene. If I can actually get in the wall.
Yeah,
hot
this
wall,
wall I feel
yeah.
like it's a bit
There we go.
awkward. Yeah. There we go.
It's a little awkward, but once you hit it, it saves so much time, because that cutscene that's unskippable is a solid 10 seconds or so. 5 to 10 seconds.
All right. Who wants
Here
this
we go.
level?
Venom 2.
I hate this level. Venom is very RNG oriented on this level. We're gonna sit here to try and manipulate that, but it doesn't always work. Just so
Oh,
you
Notice-
of course, he's spawned up there.
So
I'm
there's
noticing a
4
pattern here.
there's
Venom is
4 different
RNG
spots.
related.
Yeah, and it's always just like, which spot will Venom spawn in? So we try. Sap's put himself in that corner to try to spawn him in one of 2 places, kind of in the middle. But of course, Venom said not today and went to
Okay.
one of the sides.
Yeah, Venom is. He can be a royal pain.
Yeah.
It's alright though.
The good thing about the PlayStation version, exclusive to the PlayStation version, is the L2 button, which functions in this where you can see that Sap's camera automatically targets Venom, which is, like I say, exclusive to the PlayStation version. By holding down L2, it automatically locks onto bosses, and in this case, obviously very useful for Venom, as it was in the first boss fight as well, which I don't think we called out at the time, but that is what we
And
do
here
as well.
we are to the
spot it quickly.
gauntlet. I'll let you
Hell
guys
yeah.
take over during this.
Oof. Brian, you got this level. My distaste for this level.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here is there's a little seam just in between the wall and this filing cabinet. We're going to file ourselves under S for skip and skip straight onto the floor.
Wow.
And so what that does is deload a lot of the levels, similar to like the hostage situation level at the beginning of the game, which allows us just to jump to the end level trigger. There are hostages normally you'd save to be able to open doors and things like that. Again, we just ignore the hostages; they can stay there. Doesn't matter. We're just going to go carry on.
Sweet. And now we are on the elevator. So normally this level, you're supposed to basically ride that elevator down all the way. Sap's gonna say no, thank you. I'm 1 pixel wide, and yeah, that's it.
Usually it's an auto scroller, but we can go through the wall and just jump down the whole thing. Next is stop the presses. Stop the presses is not too bad. You just gotta destroy some generators and make your way through.
Yeah, normally 4 generators to destroy, but because we know a little secret at the end of this,
I just got
we
turned
only
around
need
a
to
little
destroy 2. Yeah, we only need to destroy 2. We go to this end room here, the door will close, and all Sap needs to do is zip through this door then, and the end of level trigger is just down that little chute there.
Oh wow.
There we go. And here is basement.
I don't know how this level's a basement. Never seen a basement look like this before, but
Yeah, wild basement actually, that is true.
Genuinely, why does the Daily Bugle have fire down in their basement? Like, I don't understand that part. But
A lot of
anyway,
houses will sell the basement unfinished so that you can finish the basement yourself. It's just an unfinished basement is all.
Yeah, so what Sap's trying to do here, which he did again excellently,
Wow.
is
I
that-
do.
until okay, I jinxed it, my bad. What was going to happen there was, so he zips back through the door as it closes, the spidey sense goes off and that's when the door closes. We zip back through the door to deload the level, he jumps around and outside and swings and zips then underneath the level to be able to keep the level deloaded to allow you to swing essentially to the end level trigger. Unfortunately we swung back inbounds and so we won't be able to quite do that, but we are I think going to try and go for a slightly faster skip. Oh, and the web ball, so annoying, didn't quite
get
get there.
but that's alright. Basement is definitely the, in my opinion, the hardest skip in the entire run. It is difficult. It's
and to
At
your
least-
benefit, you absolutely hit the hard part. I'd say the gate's the hardest part.
yeah.
So
The gate's the hardest part. Once you get the swings, you know, it's pretty easy. I just kind of accidentally swung back in and reloaded the level, but it happens. Next up, we got
I gotta say,
Mysterio. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mysterio.
the way the story has got to this point is it turns out Mysterio was the one who was disguised as Spider-Man who committed the crime, and so oh no, unlucky. So now Mysterio's big and we're going to fight him and figure out what the hell's going on and what this mysterious plot is that's been going on throughout the course of the game. So Mysterio has these glowing conduits on his body that all we've got to do is destroy them, and once we destroy them all the first time, a second phase begins, and then we've just got to destroy again the top 2 on his body just there, and then we'll shoot him in the fish dome, and it'll be done. There's normally a spot you can stand up here, which I think Sap is in now, where you stand kind of like right on the edge of this top barrier. You'll see that Mysterio tries to grab him, and instead of grabbing him like he did the first time, he actually just phases straight through him. So you can technically stand in that spot the entire time, and you can do targeting mode to fire off at all of them, or you can jump up and down. It's either way, whatever works for you.
Either
Best
way
music in
works.
the
I
game
prefer
coming
to
up?
use targeting mode. Just a lot less to think about when you do it that way, but if you mess up, you got the backup.
looks like I'll have to
Next
clean
is
this place
probably
up.
one of the last glitches in the game,
Yeah, the last major one for sure.
and that is Waterfront Warehouse. I climbed through a little box right there, lined myself up to these fans, and hopefully just jump into the level trigger. We're gonna pray.
Oh no, I don't think that's it, is
Oh.
it? Nah, unlucky.
That one is
Yeah, but-
really hard. This level is actually pretty long, and doing that, the level trigger is like
Looks like I'll have to
3
clean this place
layers
up
of
too.
levels down from where I'm actually jumping from, so it can be
Yeah.
hard to hit.
I think no skips or casually this level takes about like 3 minutes like plus to finish, so this is definitely intended even if you fail it the first time,
I messed
it's
that
gonna
up
be
again.
it's
I
gonna be
think.
way better to do it this way. You might still be able to just about push for it, I think.
Oh, I
Yeah,
got
you
it.
got it, dude.
Three!
Nice. Well done.
All right. So we're going to move on to Underwater Trench, and just like every bad guy lair, lots of lasers
Hell yeah.
and
Tradition.
electricity. And actually, if you play the what if mode of this game, there's a what if mode using a cheat. Spider-Man makes fun of it. He goes, "Lasers, how original," which I love. But we're gonna, just swing through this level. There's a couple different spots where I can zip to, which you just saw me do. On this little section, you'll see me zip a lot more. The wall, the floor kind of extends up to a point where I can actually reach it with the zip like a wall, so I just use that to my advantage. Get through the level.
This level reminds me a lot of one of the laboratory levels from Crash Bandicoot 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or like the level room in Warped or something like that.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Next up, we got stopping the fog. This one you got to be careful with. The goal of the level is to free Black Cat. You have to hit a couple different levers casually, but we're going to try and skip all of the 3. Instead of going through to 3 different spots, we're going to try and... Oh, it didn't work. Okay, we're going to keep going. But that's okay, because last time I did that, it crashed my console. So we're going to keep going.
Yeah, this one's a tricky one. This was only something that was discovered, I'd say recently, in terms of like the Spider-Man kind of like tricks and things that have been discovered throughout the kind of course of speedrunning this game, where the fire web thing seems to have like weird properties where if Sap had been able to show you, what could have happened is you hit the switch twice, so normally via a web ball and then just a regular web, to hit it like almost at the same time before the cutscene starts playing, and that for some reason triggers the switch but also leaves it untriggered. So if you just repeat that 3 times, it counts it as all 3 switches in all 3 different rooms being triggered, and it'll just finish the level. Yeah, different platforms. This level works differently on different platforms. Some ways you'll just crash your console, other ways don't crash your console. It all depends on which platform you're playing on and what you do. So a dodgy level to be right at the end of the game, something definitely worth being careful for. But now we're in back-to-back boss fights, so this is excellent. We're nearly there.
We got Doc Ock, the first boss fight. I'm gonna try and one-cycle him, is what we call it, but it's pretty difficult to do. It's not really intended, obviously, but if I'm just quick enough and I play my cards right, I can actually kill or defeat Ock. He doesn't actually die, but I can defeat Ock in 1 cycle. If I do this, it saves about 40 seconds or so.
Yeah, again, this one probably actually almost, I'd say, without kind of, just because of the like randomness of it almost sometimes on the level of like basement skip, just because it's awkward and awful.
That's it. Time to pay the piper,
And just like that,
Yes,
he's
dude,
done.
let's go.
GG's. Well done.
Perfect. Yeah, so
It's not
what
done
that
yet.
30
was,
seconds.
yeah, so what that was, it was a very specific combo of web gloves on, 2 kicking punch combos, and the instant web dome before those barriers go back up. That was what you saw,
And then
basically.
next, we fight Carnage.
Here he goes.
Carnage is in the game, by the way.
Yeah.
So what Sap's doing here is basically there's that sound dome around Carnage.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm just gonna do it the way ball.
All the same. Carnage takes. There's a few different ways of doing this. So what you see Sap doing here is just kind of keeping Carnage in place, unlocking the middle, doing damage with the web balls, and then that sound dome is also doing. You'll see it does a lot more damage. There's another strat as well where we can kind of web ball him so that Carnage leaves the dome, and then we yank Carnage back in, and that tricks the game into thinking that basically to keep the dome up the whole time. So
Yeah.
2 different ways to do it,
Oh,
but
okay.
perfectly
Nice.
done. Good job, Sap.
The web ball version is a lot more safe, for sure.
Indeed.
A lot less difficult and a lot less to think about than the strat where you push him out and pull him back into the sound bubble. I did it at first, but I accidentally pulled him back into a spot where it just wasn't going to work. And then next we got the last level.
Almost done.
One of the most
already.
terrifying nightmare fuel levels as a kid. I swear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I don't know who they thought their audience was for this one. Absolutely terrifying.
whoever made
Crazy.
this boss was a huge Resident Evil fan. Monster Ock. It's Doc Ock, but with Carnage's symbiote. And honestly,
Oh,
such a cool
jeez.
concept for a character that you never get to see these days. I don't think
No.
we've ever actually seen that besides in this game.
Yeah,
could be
I don't
wrong
know
about
why they've not done that. Like, of all the things like they've never done in the comics or anything like future Spider-Man media, we've just never seen this character again. This combination of Carnage and Dr. Octopus, which to say like how long comics have existed, like Spider-Man comics, I can't believe we've just not got around to using that at
Oh,
some
because
point.
it's too scary.
Probably, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
these are
Honestly,
like,
as a
too
kid,
far.
I'm 4 years
As a
old. I
kid-
see this. I think I'm crying.
I mean, when I was playing this game, I was a wee lad, and I'm pretty sure I remember having my brother beat it for me because like, I just
Yeah,
couldn't handle it.
it was the same. It was my uncle who beat this for me. I couldn't do it.
I was just like, I'm not doing this. What is this? Went from Spider-Man to Silent Hill.
Nice, yeah. So essentially, this is all this last kind of level is. It's just a big swing session, basically to the end of the game. There's no randomness. There's no kind of like trick or anything to it. It's literally just swing down these corridors. So after practicing this a few times, you'll know the route. The route stays the same every time, like I say. So it's just a matter of affecting your movement. A good level, to be fair, if you're wanting to come and practice movement in this game. This is a really good level to do so because the corridors are tight. It allows you to kind of like be a bit more free with your movement in a way that kind of confines you still though. So if you want to practice movement in this game, I would recommend this level.
Yeah, I think
Shoutouts to all the older brothers who didn't have a brother older than them and couldn't hand the controller to their older brother. That was me. I'm the
time, by the
oldest.
way.
Oh,
Yeah,
time.
that's
Nice.
time. Sorry.
GG.
No,
There you go.
And
Very
that
nice,
is
well
Spider-Man
done.
2000.
Alrighty, yeah.
appreciate
If you want
everybody
to,
for-
if you want to shout yourself out and tell everybody where they can find you on the internet and what you're doing nowadays on your stream.
Sounds good. Well, you can find me at Sappy321. That's my main handle on YouTube and on Twitch. I mainly run Spider-Man. I'm going to be moving on to Enter Electro, which is the sequel to this game, made by the same people and everything. But currently I'm running Dexter's Lab for the PS1 and Spy vs. Spy. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and stop on by, and I'd appreciate it. And come say hi. That's all for me. How about Spyron and Shadow?
Yeah, Spyron, you got to
Yes.
tell us about what you're doing less than 12 hours from now.
Yeah, so
very
funnily
exciting.
enough, I'm sat at ESA currently in the corner of the room with the computers. So I'm here because I'm doing Spider-Man and Enter Electro, funnily enough, in like I say, about 12 hours from now. So if you're interested, come watch the ESA stream in about 12 hours. But if you want to just see my personal stuff, Spyron on Twitch and YouTube. Again, I primarily speedrun Spider-Man, trying to expand my speedrunning catalog slowly, but it probably will just never happen, and it'll just be Spider-Man and 90% of the times you tune in, which is fine. So just, yeah, if you enjoyed this game, you want to see more of this, find me on Twitch and YouTube.
All right, and I'm Shadow of Eden with the 0 in the shadow on both Twitch and YouTube. I run Spider-Man Enter Electro. I actually just wrapped up Spider-Man 2002 with Tobey Maguire movie tie-in game. So I classify myself as like a Disney speedrunner. Basically, like every month I'm swapping games, so I'm just starting to learn Tarzan and just wrapped up Spider-Man. But yeah, if you want to see a bunch of different runs every month, feel free to stop on by.
Awesome. Well, thank you to the three of you for showing this off. This was a fun run. I had a lot of fun watching you just fly through walls and whatnot. So thank you to the three of you for being here.
Yeah,
Thanks for
Yeah,
having us.
thanks so much.
Super
Great job,
happy.
Seth.
I'm super glad I could be here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Run's super fun.
Did a great
GG
job,
against
and yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. Folks, we're gonna take a quick little break just to get a little stretch in and be sure that we can, take care of ourselves, get some water and do all that stuff. And when we come back, we're gonna be seeing Ad 129 with Banjo-Tooie. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Crosshair here on the GDQ Hotfix. We're gonna keep rolling along with our episode called Runs with Bullets? With Banjo-Tooie. But before we start that, did want to let you all know that if you are looking to get involved with the GDQ community and you have Discord, which many of us do, you can join the official GDQ Discord and add the Hotfix role to stay in the loop on upcoming events, chat with staff like yours truly, and even more. Use !Discord in Twitch chat. You can get the invite for that and more info. With that said, our next runner was here on Hotfix less than 24 hours ago, running Donkey Kong 64, and is back now running yet another rare. Ad 129's here. Ad, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm tongue-tied. I can't say. Help me. I can't say it.
Very valid. Hello, I'm Ad129, and yeah, this is Banjo-Tooie, any percent no bit clips. Yeah, before we start the run, I have a very special guest with me, TSR Storm, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey yo, I'm TSR. I run both BK and Banjo-Tooie, so, and I'm also going to be doing a run at SGDQ here in a couple days, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
sick, so I'm ready to see this epic Banjo-Tooie speedrun, so.
very true. All right, without further ado, I am ready to start this run. So
Let's do it.
We'll start Awesome. Let's start in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So before we get into anything about this game, let's just go over what the definitions of this category means. Also, that's the first trick complete. So,
Yay.
Wow.
No Congo.
All right then.
so basically there are a lot of requirements we need to do to beat the game, and so the first main one is we have to go to the final boss area, which is called Cauldron Keep, and we have to defeat the final boss, Hag 1, or where Grunty is. And so that is our main goal of the speedrun. We have to do a lot of different things to even get to that point, and so what we're basically going to be doing is we need to collect 315 notes for one move. It's called Clockwork Eggs. We'll be collecting all other moves that we'll need later on in the run. However, the main one we'll need is Clockwork Eggs. And so the first part of the run is just us trying to collect both those notes and also Jiggies. Jiggies are the main collectible of the run. Basically, they open up different levels, and so we need to collect around 14 of the fastest Jiggies to unlock a level later on in the run. This category used to be called any percent 14 Jiggies, but got renamed to No Bit Clips. We'll get into why it's called No Bit Clips later on into the run. But might be getting trolled by Klungo. I think I'm getting the wrong one. Oh yeah, got the wrong one. I always hate Blue Potion. So
Potion's bad.
yeah, Blue Potion is, I believe, the fastest. Correct me if I'm wrong, but also one of the hardest ones because quite literally, Klungo is duplicating, and you have to hit the right one. There we go.
Nice.
Sweet.
So that is the first Klungo fight. That is our first quote-unquote boss battle of the game. It's considered a boss battle. It's in the main menu.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So that is the first boss that we'll do. The way Klungo works actually is, you may have heard me complaining about Blue Potion. He has 3 different types of potions. He has Red Potion, Blue Potion, and Green Potion. In the Xbox version, that is actually a predetermined set of red, green, blue, because that is in the difficulty. That's like how it's set up as a difficulty. But on N64, for some reason, it's just completely random, and so that's why I was like kind of not hoping for a Blue Potion, but at least now we don't have to worry about a Blue Potion later on.
Yeah, we
All
think
right, so-
they did that because of the online leaderboard on Xbox, and so that all the Klungos are specific to their difficulty. When you
Yeah.
meet them in the game.
All right. That trick I just did there is called Red House Treble Clef early. Basically, what we did is we used the Beak Bust mechanic, which is basically a ground pound, to help us get up to that roof of that house to collect the treble clef. That is one of the quickest 20 notes you can get in the early game, and so being able to collect that as soon as possible is very ideal. And so we do that trick to get to that roof, get that treble clef, and then just move on to get our first Jiggy. So that is our first Jiggy, and so only 13 more to go. So basically, this is where the story really kicks off. There are a lot of story elements in this game, especially in the intro. So you may have noticed that we did not watch the intro. We just got straight into the gameplay. The reason for that is actually because I am using a specific file called Jinjo Manipulation. The way this file works is there are a lot of different Jinjo patterns, and we want to have a predetermined set so that we're able to collect the correct number of Jiggies. So what that means is in the first level, Mayhem Temple, there are a white Jinjo, 2 orange Jinjos, and then in 2 other levels that we'll be visiting, there are 3 yellow Jinjos. When we collect all of those, we get 3 easy Jiggies. And so if we have this specific manipulation, we can basically have those for free. And if we didn't have the Jinjo manip, it would basically be all up to RNG, not guaranteeing us those 3 Jiggies. And so we're using that file. That I'm not sure if we started at 3.5, but normally in speedrunning Banjo-Tooie, with a Jinjo manip, we would start the timer at 3.7 seconds because that is around how long the offset is.
And we're watching this cutscene. This cutscene's actually only skippable on I think just every other version of the game except for Xbox. But on the US version, it's not skippable, and skipping that cutscene there is actually why Japanese is faster for the unrestricted any percent category.
Yeah. Basically, in unrestricted or true 80%, and then also Cheeto percent, not cheater percent, Cheeto percent.
Yeah, that's where it was originally faster. It wasn't Cheeto
Yeah.
percent, and then BitClipster discovered it, and then we figured out that it was also faster for any percent, so.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do a trick here called Glitter Gulch Mine Early. Basically, this level is the second level of the game. Oh, come on, Banjo. And we're basically doing a clip out of bounds to kind of get inside of this level early. And so, just trying to line myself up here, get maximum height, and try to get into this loading zone. It's a little bit tricky sometimes. Sometimes Banjo will just decide to not clip, and so we're gonna really hope just like that. Perfect.
There we go. Nice.
All right, so now we're into Glitter Gulch Mine. There are a lot of important things that we're going to be doing in this level. The first one is obviously collecting those notes and jiggies that we were mentioning earlier, but we're also going to be setting up a very important glitch that allows us to basically warp to the final boss. This trick called Delayed Cutscene Warp, or DCW for short, is this said glitch. And what the basic summary, I won't explain it yet because it's going to be very confusing to explain the whole thing, and then we're only setting up like the first third of the glitch. But basically what it is we're setting up a cutscene that is not going to be fully activated until we do the second part of the glitch. Let me warp. There we go. And so it's just going to be in a standstill, and we're going to basically do that right now. We're going to kind of do this first part where we're going to set up this minigame, because basically what we're opening up is a minigame into the next level, which is called Witchy World. And in this room that we're going to be going into, there's actually a loading zone that takes you from a Glitter Gulch Mine into Witchy World. So it's a very different type of loading zone that we kind of see very often in this game, but it's very different to the ones that like I just entered, for example. So here we blow up these rocks with the detonator. And this is the first part where we're going to have this box, the box that has the saucer minigame, and it's going to go into that little white room over there that you see. It's not going to fully go in there because we have not opened that door yet. So yep, so it's just going to stay right there, and now we don't have to worry about that for a while, and so we're just going to keep collecting notes and jiggies. So we're in, oh, I didn't get it, I was too far away. It's okay.
No.
Oof.
Oh.
But we def warp just so we can get to the beginning of where Wumba's hut is, just because there's a lot of easy jiggies we can get with the detonator still. Just one more. So this glitch that we're going to be doing is called Detonator Levitation. This trick, when you press A and B at the same time under this waterfall, you're basically able to levitate. And so you're going to see it right here first try. Nice. It's very easy.
Wow.
Just
Yeah,
like
very
that.
cool
Easy.
glitch.
Very easy. Very cool to watch.
And that trick
And
is
yeah.
the reason why the US version is faster for this category,
Oh, okay.
because you can get that jiggy early and it saves a bit of time. I think it saves like 30 seconds or something. It's pretty big, so.
It's very massive.
Yeah.
Because you would have to find an alternative jiggy in terms of the route. Because on like Japanese or something, it's patched. I can verify
yeah.
that because I when I was coming back from college, I thought I lost my NTSCU Banjo-Tooie cart. And so I had a marathon actually the week after I came back. I was like, oh no, where is my cart? Okay, I might as well set up a Jinjo minute file on Japanese and run on Japanese. Doing the route, I realized, oh wait, I can't do this detonator levitation. And so
Rip.
I was like, oh, I have to find an alternate strat. But as you can see now, I found it, luckily. We're running on the fastest version for this category.
Yep.
So yeah.
And like typically, US is the fastest version for most categories, because US has a lot of glitches, like hitbox extension, like detonator levitation. But DCW actually works on every single version, including Xbox. So that's what's nice about running Banjo-Tooie.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of the other versions have a lot of things patched, which is the reason why we want to run mostly on the N64 version on the US version, just because it allows us to do a lot of different warps, different all that very easily. We don't do any of these warps in the run. They're called clockwork warps, but basically there are two types, and there's the version that works on the US, which is very easy, and then you have the ones that work on every other version, which is a little bit harder. So yeah.
It's just European and Xbox that have like different clockwork warps. I think Australian and Japanese are basically the same as US.
Mm.
So it's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
Yeah. You may have been noticing, yeah, there's not much. We're basically just platforming through this section. But this next section coming up actually is a very fun section to watch and makes me scared sometimes. This room that we're going to be going into is pitch black. So,
Oh, fun.
basically, I have a couple of visual cues that I'm going to hopefully be looking for. But I'm running on a CRT, so it's not guaranteed that I can like fully see everything. So my first one is this chain right here because this is a lamp, and we jump to this other one, and then we talon trot and we get this jiggy right here.
Nice.
It has only
cool.
gone wrong once. Thankfully not in a marathon run. All right, so just like that, we're done with Glitter Gulch Mine for now. We're gonna actually come back 2 other times, but for now we're just gonna leave. We spawn all the way at the top of that rope, and so we don't have to worry about the little like gate blocking Glitter Gulch Mine and the entrance. But yeah, so now we have unlocked fire eggs. This allows us to enter the next area, which is the Pine Grove, which is home to Witchy World. So the reason we're going to go in here is actually to unlock a move called the Grenade Eggs. This is a very useful move because we're basically going to use Grenade Eggs to get to a different area in Mayhem Temple, which is the first level. You may have noticed we're sequence breaking this game pretty decently. Not as broken as yesterday. I am really struggling at this. One shot, please. Yeah,
There we go. Nice.
We don't have egg game yet, by the way. That's why I have to do it like that. Normally, if we would enter Mayhem Temple in 100% and already have that unlocked, we would be able to just immediately shoot it. But we don't have that unlocked, and so we just have to use that slope and line ourselves up. So it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, now we're in Pine Grove, and then we're gonna unlock Grenade Eggs here.
Exactly enough notes.
Exactly. The route is very, very, very specific, but it's very easy to like keep track of where you are in terms of the notes.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot less to collect too in this game compared to, you know, the first game, 810. And they're actually like, they're not in egg nests, they're individual, so
Yeah.
you actually have to collect 810.
And also there are 100 jiggies in that game, and then also there are 90 in this game. So less collectibles was very long in terms of the speed run, because Banjo-Kazooie 100% is around 2 hours long, while Banjo-Tooie 100% is around 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty crazy. I think any percent without the wrong warp glitch we're about to do is slower than 100% for PK. So it's
Yeah.
Jeez.
it's a big game, definitely. If you don't have this delayed cutscene warp glitch.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to be doing our first level entry. Like, we're opening our first level. So this is the gimmick of the game, is we're solving puzzles to unlock different levels. So this one's very easy. There's only 5 we have to put in. 91's decent. I've gone in a 93 before. But yeah, all those are RNG. So wherever they spawn, wherever you have to put them in, they're all random. And so we just have to get lucky sometimes. The ones in like the later half of 100%, and they are much more difficult. But thankfully, we only do 4 in this category. But yeah, now we're gonna be opening Mayhem Temple, which is a really broken level in my opinion. It has a lot of broken mechanics that we can use to get everything we need. But we have a cutscene. If you have like a quick thing to talk about, Dane, would be a great time before we go into the next glitch.
Absolutely, yeah. So, speaking of bit clips, I saw we had a resub earlier, and I wanted to thank everyone for supporting GDQ Hotfix with your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bit clips. I mean bits. Your contributions help keep our shows running. If you're enjoying the stream, consider subscribing for exclusive emotes, ad-free viewing, and access to chat during replays. You can always support the stream also for free by sharing Games Done Quick with your friends and loved ones.
Awesome. All right, so now the next glitch that we're going to be doing has a weird name, so I'm going to rename it to something called Slick Clip. So this trick basically allows us to go out of bounds in Mayhem Temple to allow us to enter a area called Jade Snake Grove. And so overall, this glitch is called Jade Snake Grove Early, but we're going to do a specific version of it called Slick Clip. And so what this involves is we're going to fly up to here, this little seam that we're able to ledge grab. We're gonna beak bomb right into it. First try, let's go.
Nice.
All right, we're gonna line ourselves up out of bounds. Make sure we don't void out or clip back in bounds. I'm gonna do one more beak bust out of bounds like that. Then there we go. This should be the loan zone. Banjo just disappeared. I've never seen that before.
Oh, is that that a thing?
Yep. That's the thing.
He said the thing.
I said the thing. All right, so now this is what I was talking about having a Jinjo minute file. And so the first Jinjo that we collect is actually the white family because it only has one Jinjo. And the reason we collect this one first is there are two separate cutscenes for when collecting a Jinjo. The first one is when you overall collect a Jinjo, it'll play this animation and it'll describe, oh, we are this family. I need you to collect 6 other members of our family or something. But when you complete a family, it's a completely separate cutscene. And so the white family only having one will actually only play one of these cutscenes and we don't have to watch the other one ever again. And so smart routing like that are like very important in running Banjo-Tooie.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so now we're going to be grabbing this Jiggy from Slumber or Slumber. This one, okay, let's be careful. I don't want to die here.
Yeah, in this game you can't really, you can't.
I'm not
talent
jumping.
rock.
I'm not jumping. There we go.
Yeah, they made it so that when you spam talent trot, you can go into like flutter, and it just completely messes up your slope climbing movement.
Yeah. If you're very used to like running Banjo-Kazooie and then you go into Banjo-Tooie, it can definitely throw you off for a bit. I've definitely had some moments when I ran the rare collectathon any percent trilogy or the 301%, which is the 100% of Donkey Kong 64, this game, and Banjo-Kazooie. It definitely throws you off for a bit and then you get into the groove of it, but especially with running Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie back to back, it can throw you off. But yeah. All right, so now we're gonna be collecting some more notes. Basically, all the notes in this level are in this beginning area. So we're just gonna be going down this part of the level, and then we're gonna actually collect our quote-unquote crosshair right here.
Oh,
this is a game.
Crosshair mentioned.
Crosshair mentioned.
Hashtag Crosshair mentioned.
Crosshair.
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 All right, so we're not going to be seeing that for a while. So we're basically now going to be collecting these notes. The next thing I'm going to do is something I either mess up entirely or I get it very well. It's basically collecting this treble clef that we're about to see mid-air while keeping our flight. And so you're about to see me kind of set this up. So just like this should be enough height. Just like that. Nice.
Nice.
Just like that. And then now we're going to see our crosshair.
Oh.
And then we're going to be shooting. We're going to shoot down these flies. I collected. I don't think I collected it. I don't know. I thought I collected that honeycomb there. Did I?
I guess you didn't. I don't know.
I guess I don't. No, I didn't. Okay. It looked like one of the special ones. I was like expecting it to like take me out of the first person. All right, so we're gonna grab this orange Shinjo. We've just completed the orange Shinjo family. I took fall damage. And so now we're gonna be entering the prison compound. This is the only level where I have to actually like pull out the route, because this is the one part of the route that I actually do not have memorized.
Oh.
And it's basically a combination that we have to input to free
Okay.
a character called Dilberta. I don't have this memorized, but I have like only one of them memorized. But again, I'm pulling it up in case I get the wrong one, because it's completely RNG. This game is just heavy and riddled with RNG. So yeah, we're gonna grab this Jiggy right here, and then we're gonna do a very quick thing here of going into this little, I guess like quicksand or whatever. I don't know what you would call it. There's an enemy that bites you basically, and so then we're gonna be entering this code. So we're gonna do this one code first. Sun, moon, star, moon, sun, and then I'm gonna reopen my phone. Oh, first try. Okay.
Very cool.
Perfect. So
Perfect
that's
RNG.
perfect RNG. Oh, okay. There we go. So now we have freed Dilberta, and this entrance right here is actually going to take us back to Glitter Gulch Mine. And we're going to do two other things once we enter this area. The first one is talk to the prospector here to grab this Jiggy, since we have freed Dilberta. And then what we're going to be doing next is we're actually going to be collecting 2 Jinjos from the Yellow family. The Yellow family has 3 members, and so we need to grab the 2 that are in here, and then the final one will be in Witchy World, which is actually where we're going to be heading next. So after we go here, we go up to this area, very hidden Jinjo right here. We're going to go down here, and then there's the final one up there, up that hill, or well, I don't know what you would call that. The glitter, I guess. This is the Jinjo's under this one, and then now we're gonna leave Glitter Gulch Mine again. So we're gonna warp to the beginning, and then we're gonna talk to the obelisk in front of this area, since again we have not opened this level, by the way. So we're gonna use the obelisk, which is basically like a way to fast travel to Jiggy Wiggy. Ignore that, by the way. Oh, you didn't see that.
Let's see what.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna use this to warp back to Jiggy Wiggy to open up this level, Witchy World, and then reset the game, since the cutscenes are very long. This game is practically a cinema. So not much to really talk about with these, so you have around 3 minutes or so if you want to mention anything, Dane.
Holy moly. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely talk about some things. Folks, if you're enjoying the run, which I hope you are, and you want to check out past GDQ Hotfix shows, special events, and other things like the marathon VODs that we have from all of our mainline events, those are all over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/gamesdonequick. If you're watching this from YouTube, hello. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date with things all to do with GDQ. And if you want to catch these runs live, you can head on over to our Twitch channel and follow us there and catch the runs live every weekday, or not every weekday, but most weekdays, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if we're talking about other things, we can also mention at this point, if we've got 3 minutes of just sitting here, the Fatale schedule dropped today.
Yes.
And there is a person, I think, in this call who might potentially have a run at it might be day 1 around 7:15 p.m. Eastern, running GeForce any percent. Oh, who might that be? Who might that be?
I wonder who that is.
Actually, me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Definitely TSR Stormed.
how's it going? Yeah.
Yeah. Very good mention. Yeah, the schedule literally released this morning. I was like dead asleep, you know, mentally preparing for my shift at work, and then I woke up to an email of like, oh, you got accepted. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like not expecting it, but I was like, oh wait, I should have expected this. It's like the schedule was gonna drop this morning. But yeah, I'll be running GeForce. If you know the movie, it's the video game version. If it sounds silly, it's very silly, but it's also a really fun speedrun to watch. So definitely, if you can tune into Flame Fatales this year, definitely tune into that run. There's so many good runs on the schedule.
It
Yeah.
is a crack schedule. I looked
It's
at it this
so
morning
good.
and blew my mind how
Exactly.
good some of those runs are going to be.
Exactly. All right. And so now we have reset the console. The reason for that is the way this game saves is the game saves per loading zone. And so once we have an area loaded, we're able to reset on it, specifically when the area that we're opening up is loaded. And so that saves time because we're just able to like not watch that cutscene, maneuver out of the temple, do all that. We're just able to just restart at the beginning of the Iolo Hag / Shinjo Village and just warp to the next area we need to. The reason we don't do that for the first one, which is Mayhem Temple, is because we're already in the Wooded Hollow in that area. So we're just like, oh, we don't need a reset there. But yeah, now we're going to be entering Witchy World. This is where this whole run is going to be pieced together now. So this is where we're going to do our second part of this DCW glitch that I've been mentioning. So before we even begin to talk about that, though, we need to collect more notes. Because again, 315, big number. There are a lot of notes in this game. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, first couple we're going to be getting is this one in Area 51, right here. And then now we're going to be getting notes that are scattered throughout this little ring around this circus. I'm trying to avoid this like slot machine, but sometimes they're very annoying.
Yeah, very annoying enemy.
All right, so the next mini game, I guess you would call it, is oh my god, I forget what it's called. It's Cactus something. Oh my gosh,
Cactus of Strength.
Thank you, Storm. I literally cannot remember the name. This one we have to do 3 different abilities: grenade eggs, a regular beak bust, and then a bill drill, and that will give us enough strength, quote unquote, to unlock this Jiggy and destroy that bell. So climb up here and just grab this Jiggy. All right. Also, if you may have noticed, and if you haven't been hearing me, I am running on N64. There is a lot of lag in this game.
Yep.
Witchy World is not the laggiest, but very laggy, because there's just so many assets in this game, or this level, that are just loaded in. So
Yeah, definitely. And this game doesn't run on the expansion pack like DK64 does, so there was a lot of optimization done. And well, they did a pretty good job, but it's still a very, very laggy game.
Yeah. I don't want to mention it because I know once I mention it, I'm gonna get bad luck. But let's just say a slight time loss that can happen. That's just RNG basically loses more time in that one area because there's just so much lag in that specific area. I'm not gonna mention what it is because we still have 1 more of these to go through. Not 2 more, I mean. And so gotta hope that we don't get them because they lose time.
Yeah. The thing about lag. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this is a very scary thing to watch, but it's really easy to do.
Okay, I was just gonna say that lag doesn't really lose you time on Nintendo 64 unless you go under 20 frames per second. This game usually runs at 30, so and there's a lot of places where you'll oftenly go under 20 FPS. So
yeah,
you want to definitely stay above 20 FPS as much as you can.
Exactly. There are like certain loading zones, especially when you run 100%, where you literally will like for a second think, "Oh, my game just crashed," but it didn't. So yeah. So this is the second half of the glitch we're doing. So we open this door. We're gonna be loaded back into Glitter Gulch Mine, but once it's loaded, I reset the console. What this does is we now have set up an incomplete not loading, a cutscene. So once we enter either I don't think entering Witcher World activates it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Storm, but if you enter that room of the fuel depot that we went in at the beginning of the run again, it will actually play that cutscene again and it'll finish it for you. And so we don't want to watch it until the end of the run where we're going to warp to the final boss. And we'll explain how the warp works specifically once we actually begin to do that part of the process. But for now, we have stored a cutscene, and we have we're saving it for a later part in the run. That's the basic summary. So now
Exactly.
we're gonna be doing the like kind of linear part of this run. We're basically gonna be collecting more notes as we've been doing, but we're gonna be required to go to an area called Jolly Rogers Lagoon. I just realized I don't have it open. I am very used to having 14 jiggies before entering Witchy World, so that is a thing that I should do. Let's open Jolly Rogers Lagoon before I make a grave mistake. All right. So yeah, there are multiple routes of this cat. I have 13. It's because I. Oh my gosh, my memory is slipping right now. It's okay. We're going back to Witchy World, guys.
Yay.
I forgot to grab the yellow Jinjo at the top of the.
Whoops.
The big top. A little bit of a memory
I thought that
slip.
was just like a strat that you were implementing. I didn't realize that you'd forgotten something.
No, I did not realize that I fully forgot to grab something.
Ah, okay. That's
But-
not part of the route. Good to know.
Good to know, yeah. This is a very common occurrence when running 100%, especially once you have the route memorized, because there are so many items you have to collect, and some of them are in just like the weirdest spots ever that like you'll just forget to go in one area. Realize at the end of the run when checking your collectibles, oh wait, I didn't collect this one item. I have to go back and get it. And then my run will be complete. But yeah, now we have 14 jiggies. Now we're gonna open Jolly Rogers Lagoon, and then we're gonna go into Jolly Rogers Lagoon. Now we have everything we need. We're little bit of a detour. It's okay. We love detours.
It shows off more of the game. So
Exactly. All right, so back to Wooded Hollow. And
yeah,
so
we're doing some RNG manipulation according to chat.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Some good Hag 1 luck. There's like barely any RNG in that one.
I guess the questions, but
Yeah, we'll get into the questions later.
you skip them anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, remember these puzzles? Yeah, more downtime. This is the second to last downtime section. So, more announcements.
Puzzles. Oh yeah, I've still got announcements to read. Folks, if you are curious about what's coming up on Hotfix, you can plug !schedule into the Twitch chat, and you can check out the schedule for Hotfix. It'll also give you the link to the schedule for SGDQ, because I saw some people talking about SGDQ earlier, and definitely that is a lot of hype for, because this is the last stream before SGDQ rolls around. But you can also see the full season lineup at gdq.gg/hotfix. You can see all the shows that are currently being aired during this season, and we'll be updating that soon with next season as well. Additionally, speaking of Hotfix, if you want some Hotfix merch, we have a merch collection. It is now live over at the yeti.com/GDQ. Yeti is spelled YETEE, like t-shirt. The yeti.com/GDQ. You can check out the brand new Hotfix shirt, which I have packed in my suitcase and I'm taking to SGDQ. Absolutely. We also have a keychain and a sticker pack, so we've got plenty of merch if you want to check that out.
Love the Yeti.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so now we're back on track. We're going to be going to Jolly Rogers Lagoon. The reason for this is we're going to be collecting one move and one move only. This one move allows us to enter the Klungo 2 fight later, which allows us to get Clockworks at the end. So this is the quote-unquote linear section of this run. So just going to Plateau. And then what we're going to be doing after this is we grab the move in Witchy World called Split Up. The reason we grab that is because that door that we're seeing over there in the corner, we need to do this split up pad right here, and we need to use solo Banjo and solo Kazooie to open it. And so you'll see that right here.
Yeah, man, the only reason we actually learned that move is to literally just open this door. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like such a big part of the game, but in like this route, you just literally only use it once for like
Yeah.
just one door.
All right, so now we're into this area. I forget what this actually is called. The game will tell me right now. Cliff top.
Alright,
There we go.
Cliff
Cliff
top.
top.
Top of the cliff.
This is exactly. This area holds 2 levels: Hellfire Peak, which we're not going to sadly be seeing, and then Jolly Roger's Lagoon. I'm gonna avoid this sign. We'll talk about signs later once we get past them.
Rare really
So-
likes their winding upward paths around a mountain. I'm noticing that trend in like all of their games is that level structure.
Yeah. All right.
Pterodactyl Land is like the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
The entire level is that.
All right, so now this is the really scary part of the run. I have some backups that I'll do if something goes wrong. Basically, this section we have 60 seconds underwater, as represented by our bubble counter. Once that counter runs out, we'll begin to take damage, and then obviously we'll go through our damage very fast. And so this area where we need to go is very precise, where we need 5 health, or around 5 health. You can maybe make it in 4, but you have to be really fast. But I got hit. I'm not gonna risk it. And so you're basically trying to get to your check A to check B as fast as possible. But I'm gonna go take a detour again to get some air, because I don't want to die. Because when you die in any part of the level, what will happen is you'll be respawned back at the start of the level, which basically loses way more time, because if you don't grab a checkpoint like a warp or something like that, you'll basically have to swim through this entire section again, which is very long.
Oh wow! I thought when you said you die in the game, I thought you were going to say you die in real life. So
It's true though. It's true. That is dead like 5 times so far.
My soul will die if I die in this section. I remember when I ran this category for Preventathon a month ago or something. I died in this section.
Oh no!
And I was very sad. But yeah, now we're through. We're collecting my favorite move, I guess. Talon Torpedo. It's not my favorite move. I don't know why I said that. It's just a basic move.
It's a cool move though.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's not my favorite. But basically, this allows us to get into the second Klungo fight, which restricts access to the second half of the game, which contains clockwork eggs. And so we're basically going to need to get to this point, and then now we're basically able to do the rest of the run very quickly. And so we're going to warp back to Pine Grove, and we're going to collect 10 notes underwater here, and then our final 10 notes will be in the next area, with the in-between being this second Klungo fight. And so I guess I'll also mention that you may have noticed that I jumped around that sign around Jolly Roger's Lagoon. The reason for that is, oh, come on. Signs in this game, when you view it for the first time, it will like interrupt you and like force you to like listen to Jam Jars talk about, oh, this is a sign. It will give you useful hints and all that. And so we don't need those at all. And so in this category, we just avoid them entirely. In 100%, we use that to our advantage, actually, where we kind of use that to like kind of stop our fall damage with Mumbo, since Mumbo doesn't have a way to like stop fall damage, and so we use a sign to stop fall damage. But that's 100%. We don't need to get into that right now. That's a 5-hour long category for me.
Gotta be the worst RNG, I think. This Klungo
Yeah,
RNG.
this is. I like blue. I like red potion because it's very easy, but getting blue, messing it up once, and then red potion being the slowest, it's kind of funny.
Red is very slow. There's 2 cutscenes that happen. I think growing big, and then at the very end when he grows small.
Yeah.
It's very, very annoying. Yeah, that cutscene right there.
All right. So now we've defeated Klungo. And now we have access to the other half of the game. We have unlocked Storm, help me. What's the area called? I forget.
Wasteland.
Wasteland. There we go. I only have the first like 4 areas memorized. In terms of names. But now that we have Wasteland unlocked, we're able to go unlock Clockwork Eggs, which allow us to begin the final part of this run. So we need to collect these 2 notes right here to get 315. We have every single requirement now to unlock Clockwork Eggs. And what Clockwork Eggs are is it's basically like a mini kazooie that'll will move around, and it's on a timer, and once that timer runs out, it'll explode. And you'll be able to control this clockwork. And so with that in mind, this is one of the things we need for the final boss, because we are basically going to be going inside of the Hag one to destroy some batteries, and you can only do that with the clockworks. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty crazy though. That's like pretty much the only required move I think to defeat the final boss is Clockwork.
Yeah.
And every other move is technically
Not-
skippable.
It's
I don't know.
technically skippable. I know that on Japanese, the move where you go in first person, that is required to collect. Which is why in True 80%, and also in Cheeto percent, you purposely go out of your way to try to get that. And so
Right, yeah.
that move is required on that version. I don't know if it's required for any other version. I'm not sure.
Are you
All
talking
we know
about
is
the one
Clockwork.
in MT?
Yeah, an MT.
Yeah, the reason why you don't need that in this category is because you warp straight to the final boss. In the other one, you warp to the credits, which means you have to go through the loading zone of Hag 1, I think. So, and that actually
Okay.
prevents you from going in there. But the game actually never really cares if you have the move; it will just put you into the move.
I
And
did
it
not
only
know
just
that.
it only just checks it because it's I don't know. Just
That makes
checks it.
sense. Yeah. Rare has weird checks.
I know.
We learned that yesterday as well. All right, so we did a lot of yapping. That is because we're actually watching the Hag 1 cutscene in the main menu. It's a very long cutscene. By the way, I mentioned the word cutscene. You know what else has cutscene in it? Delayed cutscene warp. And so we're watching this final boss cutscene because what will happen is when we enter that area in Fuel Depot and Glitter Gulch Mine, what will actually happen is the game will, once it loads Witchy World, since we like reset the console on that like incomplete cutscene, it'll just override whatever it is to the most latest cutscene, and it'll warp you to, in this case, for this category, the final boss. That's my explanation of it. Storm is very much a scientist of this game. Storm understands it way better than me.
Cutscene break, then you go final boss. That's how it works. So.
What a scientific explanation you've
Yeah.
just given us.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we saw this cutscene before a little bit. So this is Fuel Depot. We should be going to Witch World, but we're in the final boss. So this is the final 7 minutes of the run. It's a very long boss fight. Not as long as the one we saw yesterday, which is 12 minutes. This is 7 minutes.
Right.
This is the second longest rare boss fight to my knowledge. So basically the way this fight works is we're going to basically be shooting Grunty when she pops out of her the vehicle, and once she does that, that's when we'll shoot her. That's how we'll deal damage to her. But before we even do that, she'll be doing different phases. So this first phase is just spinning around with the Hag 1, trying to hit us with the lasers here, and then it's pretty much the same things that she does for most of the phases. Just wait, jump, avoid what she does. And then once we're in this like in-between area, she'll ask us a question about the game. Or just something completely random, I believe, as well. And then if we get it right, those green bubbles that she was throwing, or whatever the heck, it is, I don't know. Probably spells. Probably spells. She is a witch after all, so it makes sense. She'll throw it fast if you get it wrong, but she'll throw it slow, when you get it right. And so that really doesn't matter for us, and so we're just able to basically just aim and shoot at her. Just like that. All right. So that's the first quote-unquote phase done. The next part is she's going to pull out these missiles that she'll be shooting at us. And so basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to go on top of the drill and just look up. That's all we have to do for this phase.
Exclusive Nintendo 64 strat. So elusive, so epic. Looking at the ceiling.
Yeah. You couldn't tell. This game is
There's the
laggy, and
bullets.
so... Yep, those are the bullets. Alright, so, Grunty thinking, oh, one wasn't enough. Let's have a second cannon to shoot at Banjo. But, that really doesn't work when you can do the same thing.
Actually, there's a question in chat, which I know you explained it earlier, but figuring a few people probably are joining us after the fact. There was a question, what's a bit clip? Because it's not allowed for this run, so it'd be probably helpful for the new folks that wandered in to know what that is.
Yeah, actually, well, we have this really long phase coming up. So bit clips are a trick where basically the floor is completely made out of triangles, and so in between these like triangles there are specific points on the floor where Banjo is just able to clip and like go under the floor, but it's basically it's sub-pixel, like 1/1000th or I think 1/10,000th of a pixel, very very precise, and so in Banjo-Kazooie and in Banjo-Tooie there are very specific setups that you have to do to get them. In Banjo-Tooie, before we discovered new versions of it, you have to do like zooming in with the camera very specifically, creating lots of lag to get the perfect type of clip. Because another thing about bit clip is that, especially on Banjo-Kazooie, there are some that are just very much lag dependent, and so bit clips are very much not easy. And so like I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something, the community decided that we should have a separate category that is very much beginner friendly, and this is why we have no bit clips.
Makes sense.
It's a short category. It's very fun. It's very easy to get into. Like, this was my second speedrun. I for some reason chose to learn 100% first, which I don't know why I chose to do that. It was also my first time playing the game, just doing the 100% route. Don't question me. I was very weird 3 years ago.
I've got a worse first speed run if you're curious. My first speed run was Doom 2016 100% Ultra Nightmare. That's the hardest difficulty permadeath mode. That was my first speed run. So your choice is not nearly as bad as that.
Yeah, when you put it in perspective, yeah. All right.
That was a bit crazy too, because I started running Banjo-Kazooie like 80% as my first Banjo run, and that's like the hardest run.
That's a
in,
tough
like,
run.
the entire,
So,
yeah. So, yeah, I think 100% is pretty much like the most popular category. Oh, nice pause.
Nice pause.
Yeah, 100% is usually like the most popular category and what everyone runs, and it's like very like easy to get into. But for some reason, I just chose I wanted to do any percent because it was like faster, and I don't know. I definitely like any percent runs better than like 100% runs. They're very very cool.
Yeah, very glitch heavy, and I like watching the any percents. But yeah, so now we have fully turned off the Hag 1, and so now we're on to the final part of the fight. This is where Grunty basically is throwing everything she can to stop us, because she's realizing, oh wait, this is not very good for me. So this next phase that we just completed, 15 hits, and then she also has an enemy, and then next phase is a scary one when you witness it for the first time. She will throw 2 enemies and also put toxic gas that is basically equivalent to being underwater, and so we have to do this phase as fast as possible, but literally just do that. Time will be coming up very soon. And time.
GG's.
Nice.
Well
Really
done.
good run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Banjo-Tooie any percent no bit clips. Very fun category to get into. It's very easy to get into it because we have a good number of routes, I would say. Some definitely easier than others, but yeah. I have a lot of announcements, but Storm, you were gonna say something before? Sorry.
Yeah, I would say this is probably the easiest category to get into in the Banjo series of games. 100% is definitely less glitch heavy than this, but the fact that this is only like 40 minutes long and you barely do like anything, and it's like kind of easy. Like the warp to the final boss is very easy to perform. I think it's a great category to start with. So
Yeah.
if you're interested, definitely come into the Discord and say hi, and we'll help you out.
Exactly. We're a very friendly community. But yeah, where do I begin with this? I guess before I do my shoutouts, Storm, you have a very big run coming up in how many days? I can't count. Like 4 days or something. If you would like to talk about that.
Wait, I do? Wait, what? No, I'm joking. Yeah, I have a Banjo-Kazooie any percent run at Summer Games on Quick. It will be on the first day on Sunday. I believe it's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern. I believe the third run of the marathon. It'll either be Xbox any percent or Nintendo 64 any percent, depending on which one wins a bid war. So if you want to see Xbox win or you want to see Nintendo 64 win, definitely go donate towards your preferred console.
Nice.
Yeah. I will be there in the audience.
Same.
But yeah. Okay, I have a lot of things. First off, I will also be at SGDQ if I just mentioned. I will be back commentating the Spyro 3.5 run done by Wet SR. That's on Monday at 10 a.m. And then Tuesday is my big day for SGDQ because I am the organizer of an event called the 1545, which is this game, Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, the 4 3D Mario games, the Spyro trilogy, and the Crash trilogy. That's a lot of games.
Goodness.
I am organizing the first ever in-person 1545 any percent done live at GDQ. So that's going to be starting at 5:10 a.m. Tuesday, or around there. I'm beginning the run with Banjo-Kazooie any percent and Banjo-Tooie any percent, this category you just saw. And then I'll also be running Spyro 1 any percent and Donkey Kong 64 any percent 3 conks that you saw yesterday. So a lot of me running, but also we have amazing runners for each of the games, like basically top runners. So that will be happening on twitch.tv/the1545. Or if you're at SGDQ, it will be happening in the practice room. You'll be able to find us. There's just gonna be a crowd of us at a couple points. But yeah, and then you can find me on twitch.tv/ad129sr. I stream this game pretty often, along with Donkey Kong 64, a bunch of other games, GeForce, like we mentioned earlier. Yeah, you can definitely catch me on there. I have a Blue Sky, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, all the sort. But yeah, that is it from me. I have to now go pack for SGDQ. But so I'll see you guys at SGDQ.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you again for showing this off. This was a ton of fun, and I'll be seeing you both at the event. So we'll have to get a picture together when we get there.
Definitely.
But yeah, folks, we are going to jump into the final run of the show for the last Crosshair before SGDQ. But we are going to take a quick break before we do that. So take this opportunity to stretch your legs, get a snack, do whatever you got to do, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Welcome back to Crosshair here on the GDQ Hotfix. Before we get into our last run of the show, wanted to let you all know Black in a Flash is a community that uplifts and connects Black speedrunners of all levels, hosting special events throughout the year to raise money for charity and celebrate Black voices in the speedrunning scene. Learn more or apply to get involved at gdq.gg/BAF, and you can follow at blackinaflash.bsky.social on Blue Sky for the latest updates of everything having to do with Black in a Flash. So let's get into the last run of the evening. I'm gonna be totally honest with you folks. I met this guy back at AGDQ 2025, and I told him when I met him there, I'm gonna get you on Crosshair because bullet bills are a bullet that qualifies for my show, and I think it would be really funny to have Dangers and Dangerous mic'd up together. So we're calling this the Double Danger Special, and I'm really excited to have Dangers here showing off Super Mario Odyssey. So Dangers, take it away, my friend.
Hello, yeah, that's me. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going, everybody? Yes, I am Dangers, alongside Dangerous for this episode of Crosshair, and
Yes.
I'm the Super Mario Odyssey guy. You know, I'm very grateful for this opportunity because you know, we've run into each other at a couple GDQs in the past, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, you're the guy with the name that sounds like me. And so, you know, sometimes someone's looking for you, but they find me and they're like, oh, you're not you. And yeah,
I have a story about that. I'll tell you I'll tell you when we get into the run if there's any downtime, but I've got a story about that.
I would love to hear it. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're gonna be doing Super Mario Odyssey any percent. This is a run I've showcased a few times on the GDQ main stage, but also Hotfix probably as well. And you might be wondering, this doesn't look like Odyssey. This looks like the Switch menu. Well, you're right about that. So this will all kind of make a little bit more sense in a minute, but this date and this time are very specific, and they're there for a reason. I'm just going to go ahead and get it counting down now. I have to wait about 48 seconds from exiting that menu, so I guess I can kind of explain what the Odyssey speedrun is all about. So, you know, it's a typical Mario adventure. We got to get to the end of the game. We got to reach the credits, just like any speedrun. This is the any percent speedrun. We're going to be doing everything as fast as we possibly can, which means skipping a lot of story elements along the way. The gist of it. So we can't skip any kingdoms as it turns out. So we are going to be playing each and every one of them, but we're going to be doing the minimum possible amount of things in all of them. All right,
like speedrunners do.
As we tend to do. You know, there'll be going through walls and things of that nature. So, all right, we got about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Good luck.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so, I mean, here we are during the Crosshairs show, playing a game that has bullet, I think, like singular, perhaps.
One bullet.
Actually, that's not true. There are the bonsai, the larger versions as well. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
We won't be seeing any of the larger ones, but there will be one appearance of Ammunition William in Sand Kingdom. So.
Ammunition William. Excellent.
The main force, or the main kind of fast movement in this game is rolling, and the best way to do that quickly is by shaking the controller. So. Don't be alarmed if you see me kind of like wiggling on the camera. That's normal. And Dane was telling me before we started the show that he is quite unfamiliar with this run, so hopefully I can impress him on this episode.
Indeed. Oh, I'll be impressed regardless. So I've seen this run somewhat, but I've retained very little of it in all the times that I've watched any of it. So
indeed. And if you blinked, you probably just missed something that happened just there. So the first thing that we do when we roll into this room is grab the frog, but we discovered that, like, if you catch Cappy on the side of a coin block at just the right time, sometimes he just shoots off into space. And we found out a setup for that where he just, like, flies directly into all the frogs. And we don't have to, like, roll all the way up to the frogs and across the water or anything, so we were able to just do that. And then a cheeky little, what we call left side, so we don't have to go, like, all the way around the spiral ramp. We can kind of cut the corner on that. And the boss is done, and there are honestly too many words to explain everything that's happening in this kingdom. But we're away. Away we go. There's a very pivotal moment coming up here. We're going to be approaching a trick called Dino Skip Skip. Now, the history of that name sounds very silly. A lot of speedrun trick names tend to be, I suppose. But there's a trick called Dino Skip. It's probably the first one that every beginner speedrunner of this game learns, where you capture the dino and you jump up to the boss arena using one of the hidden trampolines. But it was discovered a while back that we don't even need to go all the way over there. We can actually just kind of climb this rock wall that we're staring at right now. Now, this trick is very, very precise. It's probably one of the hardest ones in the run. It happens really early. And the other kind of downside is that if I do miss it, then the trick that I set up the whole timer for at the beginning of the run kind of doesn't really work the way that it needs to. So I'm going to have to go into the switch menu. I'm going to lose a bunch of time. This is definitely probably like the biggest reset point of the entire run right here. So we'll see how I do. Yep, that's the expected outcome.
Ooh.
That's quite all right.
We just set up and try it again.
Yep. All right, so the second miss means that we do have to go into the switch clock, so when I get to Sand Kingdom, I'll... There we go.
Nice, well done.
Third try's the charm. When we get to Sand Kingdom, I'll kind of explain more about what that timer was all about, but we're up, and we're going. And that lets you kind of skip the cutscene where you like roll across the bridge. Have you played this game before, Dane?
I have not actually. I've seen the speedrun before, but I again, I haven't really retained very much of it, and I only know like kind of roughly what the game's about. But yeah, I've never played it. I don't have a Switch, so.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. So when I make contextual cues, I guess I'm speaking to the broader audience of people who have played this game that kind of are like, hey, aren't you supposed to like roll across that bridge? And Cappy introduces you to the Odyssey, and like, yeah, all that's supposed to happen. But, you know, we're speedrunners, so we're going to just not. Now, the main objective of completing Odyssey as fast as possible is that each kingdom is going to give you a number of moons that are required to move on to the next stage, power up the Odyssey, so to speak, so that you can progress. And each kingdom has a different number of those. They'll be highlighted in the top, it might even be like right here in the top left corner. There will be little hollowed out circles. So that first moon plus the 3 we got from the multi-moon makes 4, but we need 5 to leave Cascade. So I'm going to go and get the quickest one, which is right down here. And I'm going to clip through the ceiling, as speedrunners ought to do.
Nice.
And that's what we call a moon clip. So when a moon spawns in, it is kind of unobtainable for a moment in time. If you like pop it out of a chest or like out of the ground from a ground pound spot or something, which gives us just enough time to set up usually a backflip. And if we throw our cap into the wall with good timing during that backflip, it kind of just like skews Mario's position in a weird way. And you can almost think of the moon grab, like you've got a moon, as like being kind of a separate instance, like you're almost getting pulled off the stage for a moment. And then when the game puts Mario back on the stage to play the game, he's out of bounds. So we can use that to kind of skip having to come out of the alcove the slow way. And now we are going to be going into Sand Kingdom. So the reason that we set our timer at the very beginning of the run is because of a trick that utilizes daylight savings time. So the reason that it was March 13th, 2022 at 1:53 a.m. is the purpose of this is that there are moons that sprout from little seed pots. You plant seeds in pots, and 20 real-time minutes has to tick by in order for that plant to grow fully. But if you use daylight savings time, it sends the switch clock from 1:53 a.m. to 3 a.m. So you can effectively pass an hour's worth of time without having to do anything. And basically, the reason that I had to wait that amount of time, the reason I had to set it to 1:53 is that I'm supposed to be kind of in this room as daylight savings time ticks over, so that when we leave, the plant is fully grown.
I remember that being a thing in a game. I didn't realize it was in this one. That's interesting.
It's
Okay.
very weird, right? It's like the kind of thing that you would expect an Animal Crossing speedrun to have or something. But
yeah, actually, yeah, totally.
but not
That's
Odyssey.
funny.
Yeah.
Or Pokemon, like the time-specific Pokemon runs.
Totally, yeah. That's a good example too. So yeah, we did have to lose a little bit of time setting that up, but now we can kind of go on our moon collecting adventure. This is kind of the first open kingdom. Okay, there is a moon up there. I'm sure I can grab it. There we go.
There we go.
Nice and open for us. Lots of room for us to kind of route, and you know, the Sand Kingdom is probably like one of the coolest routing stories of this game, because you know, the moons are just everywhere and there's so many of them, and you only need 16 in order to progress to the next kingdom. So it's like, which ones are the fastest ones? And so the routing has obviously adapted over time depending on all the kinds of cool things that we find, including this trick that I'm going to do right here. The community calls this a dram. I like to call it a capture warp. It's a little bit easier to understand what's happening if I call it a capture warp. I'm going to throw Cappy up, dive into the alcove, and shake right before I grab the moon, and it should pop me right back up into Ammunition William over here. And it obviously saves some time from having to like leave the alcove and manually get Mario to come all the way back out. So
very nice.
Here's our appearance of Ammunition William here. The only time we're going to see him in the run. This is the bullet that we've been looking forward to.
The one thing that qualifies this run.
That's right. So enjoy it while it lasts, basically.
I do enjoy the fact that Mario's been collecting stars for so many years that Nintendo was like, how do we switch things up? What else could he collect instead?
Yeah,
I've got
what other
instead of
celestial
stars, moons.
What other celestial body?
Right. You'll be collecting comets, and then in the debut game on the Switch 3.
There we go. Now we're talking. All right. So this whole kingdom, I've actually been setting up a manipulation, and hopefully I didn't miss the timing on this. Oh, he just got me.
Oh,
Ammunition William strikes again. That's okay. We can just set up this trick and do it once more, but I'm going to use this platform to push myself into the wall like that.
Nice.
And that lets me grab this moon from out of bounds, and then I'm going to try and stay out of bounds. Yeah, so that I can come into the back of this room here. Usually, in order to get into this room, you need to answer like a little trivia question. The Sphinx will ask you a trivia question, and then he moves slowly out of the way, but we get little backdoor access there. And then there's one moon conveniently located in the sand right here, and that's our 16th one, and we're out of here already.
Nice.
Not too bad of a start, I'd say. But yeah, this game is, I mean, platformers are quite like this. Speedrunning platforms, it all kind of comes together really, really quick. And Odyssey, I think, has the reputation of being probably one of the most popular modern games for speedrunning in general, because it's like a little bit of nostalgia sprinkled in there for Super Mario 64 and all the other Mario games that have been really popular speed games. A little bit of luck that Nintendo didn't patch out the goodies that we have. And you know, it just being the the Mario franchise in itself just kind of lends to its popularity, that this is one of the most popular speed games on speedrun.com, which means there's a lot of eyes on it, which means that there's a lot of cool discoveries. And I think one of the coolest things about speedrunning personally, and maybe you can weigh in and tell me what you think, but one of the coolest things about speedrunning is that you'll have a company like Nintendo that is so gung-ho about making sure that their games are super polished and super refined, and you'll never ever be able to break them. And speedrunners say, hold my beer. We're going to do it anyway.
Yep. Yeah. Even the most well-made, most polished game can, I have found, with very rare exception, can be broken somehow. Sometimes some more than others, but yeah. I mean, you look at like FromSoft games, you know, the Dark Souls series, and just how polished those games are, and yet speedrunners have obliterated them.
Yes, precisely. Speaking of obliterating games, that was another example of a moon clip I just did there. Now that moon is actually a stationary one. It doesn't like spawn in, so I don't have time to like get in position and backflip or anything. I actually have to do a triple jump and cap throw like right as I'm grabbing it. They're essentially frame perfect. And that one just kind of gets me out through the wall. This one does have a backup, so I could have done the backup if I missed it, but I'm happy to get it, you know, happy to showcase some stuff. And that series of movement let me grab the little checkpoint flag that was on the platform above, which you're not supposed to be able to access at this point of the game at all until you basically reach the very end of the game and start going through the paintings, which kind of connects all the kingdoms in like a secret loop. And also goes out of bounds and grabs the chest that's in the water underneath me for 2 quick moons. And this is one of our first examples of, I guess, a sequence break, because the any percent run has evolved a lot over time, as you can imagine. And there were a lot of instances where we would fight the bosses in the kingdoms, because 3 moons is more than 1. That's math. And so if you can collect 3 at the same time, if you can collect
That's
3 at the
math.
same time, then we thought that was pretty fast, right? You know, it's like, oh, just 1 quick boss fight, you get 3 moons. That's cool. But it also comes with cutscenes. There's no real way to speed that up, right? So these tricks are kind of what allowed us to bypass those. And effectively, at this point in time, we only have to fight Topper at the very beginning, because you can't leave Cap without doing that. You fight the 2 Brutals in the Bowser's Kingdom, because there's no way to sequence break that, as far as we know. And then, of course, the Robo-Brutal fight at the end of Bowser's as well. And then, you know, the other bosses that are kind of mandatory along the way. But it used to be a lot more, so... Alright, Wooded Kingdom is the make it or break it. When I'm doing my PB attempts, this is where all my dreams come to die. So we'll see how this goes. There's a lot of tricks, a lot of going out of bounds, a lot of quirky kind of sequence breaking stuff here. And at any moment, I could just lose a lot of time. So we'll see how this goes. Are you a platform enjoyer at all, Dane?
Oh yeah, I like platformers. One of my childhood favorites was Spyro the Dragon, and that is nothing if not a platformer.
Classic. Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, Crash as well. Was a big oh, what do they call it? Sprash. Sprash fan.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I take it you were you were the PlayStation kid on the block.
Mostly, I did have an N64, and I've played a lot of SM64. That's actually one of my favorite games ever. SM64, and also DK64 is a bit of a platformer. I would say.
Yeah, platformer, collectathon. You know.
Yeah, So yeah, I'm a fan. I love platformers. I have seen platformers that aren't quite as good as those in my time.
Yeah, that's fair. Donkey Kong 64, mixed reception on that one, I'd say.
Yeah, I loved it, but I know definitely not everyone does.
True. Yeah, I hear the randomizer's really good, but
DK64 has a randomizer?
oh yeah.
Put him.
Okay, so lots happening. We kind of got carried away with chatting there. Lots is happening. So this kingdom started with what we call nut clip. So another one of those moon clips where we busted open a nut. You know, add the innuendos at home. I'm not going to do it for you. And clip through the wall. And that kind of gave us access to a taller part of the kingdom that we're not supposed to be in yet. That's why we had to climb that ramp in kind of a funny way. And I actually got this on GDQ. No way. And
Nice.
okay, well, I was not mentally prepared for that because that is one of the hardest clips in the game, and I wasn't actually expecting for it to work. So we're just gonna go the regular way now, I guess.
That's another one. You weren't supposed to clip back in, right?
No. The idea is that we go directly to this moon, and the clipping lets us kind of cut the corner. But it's been so long since I actually got that in a run that I was just like not mentally prepared to be able to do it. So yeah, I guess we get to take the scenic route today. That one is another one of those triple jump moon clips, the frame perfect ones with the moons that are just sitting there, which is why it's so difficult. There will be one more of those in this kingdom, by the way. And if we can go 3 for 3, that would be quite the showcase, because that doesn't even happen in my usual PB attempts. So we'll see how that goes.
Saw you were having trouble with that last one. That must have been a tough nut to crack.
Sometimes they are, you know. They don't always come easy. I think we bust like 9 of them in this kingdom for the any percent.
Oh wow, really?
Quite a lot of nuts, yeah. They're all in wooded, you know.
You're going through them pretty quick though, so.
Oh yeah. Now, anybody who is familiar with the progression of this game would know that there's like another brutal boss fight up there, and I'm just not doing it. I'm actually leaving the tower and coming over here instead. And that's because I wouldn't be able to do it even if I wanted to, because we skipped a story moon along the way, because again, cutscenes, want to avoid them. So if I went into that arena right now, nothing would happen. Just nothing would happen at all because we didn't collect the story moons in the correct order. So we have to kind of come over here instead. And this sub area is where that last triple jump moon clip is going to be. No way did I just get it? It might not
Nice.
work. Okay, it didn't work.
Oh, darn.
Close.
It looked
very,
like
very
it.
close. Yeah. So that one,
He was
that
hanging,
one's a little bit,
hanging over that edge, so.
that one's a little bit visually tricky. Like it's the one that teases me the most because yeah, Mario. You can see how what I mean by like the skew, right? Like Mario kind of like weirdly flipped into the wall like that. That one is the one that kind of gives me the hardest time deciphering whether it'll actually work based on the visuals. So we didn't go 3 for 3, but the idea is kind of the same thing there, that we can just do that sub area, clip through the wall, and then just like straight line across to the next moon instead of having to go around and under. But, you know, I'll take it. I'll take 2 for 3. It's better than my usual attempts, so.
You usually want at least like one thing to go wrong in the run when you showcase it in a marathon, just so you like the audience sees like, hey, this is actually not easy. Like this stuff is actually really hard to do well.
Precisely, yeah.
So
exactly.
No matter how seasoned you are at it.
Yeah, and the Odyssey speedrun at the top level has gotten to a point of extreme difficulty because those moon clips, when you play the game, you have the moon, and when you collect the moon the first time, it gives you that little animation, and it's all exciting. And the game immediately auto-saves, and it also replaces the moon with like a gray kind of fill-in. So the next time you collect it, it just gives you 5 coins, and you don't get the fanfare, which means that you can't do the trick anymore. So if you want to practice it, you basically have to do it from a file that hasn't collected that moon yet, which can be very, very tedious. You know, if you're trying to get up to the top level, you need either some sort of practice mechanic or you need to have a lot of patience. All right, now we're in Cloud. We're fighting Bowser for the first time. The idea is that he kind of lines up all of his hats in a row. The white one is the one that has the fists in it, and we just use it to punch him. We do that 3 times, get it right up in his face. I'm going to take intentional damage here. Backflip, cap throw, grabs it before he even has a chance to move. And you'll notice that in that first phase of the fight, after I punched him the first time, I kind of like went off to a different direction and ground pounded a random spot on the ground. And that's because hiding in that spot was what we call a Luigi hint art. And these were added to the game, I think, about a year after it came out. And these hint arts just provide you 200 coins. We are going to be visiting, ideally, 3 shops in this entire run. Or 4, actually. If you include the wooded one we already visited. So we need those coins to buy the moons from. Lost Kingdom I really love. There's no cutscenes, there's no story, really. It's just kind of come in, grab your 10 stars or 10 moons, and then just get out. So it goes really, really fast. And the movement is really snazzy.
Nintendo's been training us for so long on stars that we're still saying stars even after this game's been out for what, like 8 years?
Even though
still saying stars.
Even though I've put however many thousands of hours into it, it still trips me up. Can't help myself. All right, so that going up that ramp was necessary. It might be kind of hard to tell because I've been navigating this kingdom in a certain way, but usually when you come here, you go across the bridge that's right in front of you, and Klepto appears and steals Cappy. And that is, I guess, the one kind of story-ish cutscene that's going on here, is that Cappy gets stolen, and you have to get him back from Klepto by navigating the kingdom without Cappy, and it can be kind of annoying. But we went around the backside on purpose, because I, as a speedrunner, obviously know where all of his little hitboxes are and stuff. But then, as we approach Klepto from behind, we can kind of go up his ramp. It activates him, but he doesn't actually steal Cappy at all. And we can carry on without having to watch that cutscene, and loses 45 seconds to have to go get Cappy back like that, so...
Oof.
Yep.
Actually, I'm curious, because you do that animation every time you pick up a moon. You does that little, like, item get animation. And I remember SM64 has, if you have an EverDrive, you can do non-stop. So you don't get that animation that kicks you out of the level every time. And it cuts a ton of time out of the run. I'm curious if anybody's been able to like set anything like that up with this game where it skips that animation just to see how much time that would save over the course of a run.
Actually, yes. It's a
Really?
very interesting thing that you've just brought up. So there is a modding scene for this game. I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about it, given that, you know, maybe Daddy Nintendo is listening, but there are people who have done some fun things with this game, and one of them is, in fact, removing all the downtime related to, you know, moon grabs and cutscenes and stuff like that. I remember there was a flurry of videos out there where like, oh, I beat the world record. Just kidding, it was this modified version. You know.
Yep.
All right, we're in Metro now. This kingdom comes in kind of a few phases. The first phase... Oh, okay. Cappy, hello. This first phase is the nighttime portion. It's raining. We have to go beat up a boss in order to progress. There is another out-of-bounds clip that will be happening during this boss. That is very important for me to get because it kind of sets the tone and can save me even more time later on. But first we got to make our way up there. Now we could do this.
I know this spot.
Oh shoot! Yeah, this is a pretty, I would say, like a pretty famous Super Mario Odyssey like speedrunning area because, okay, Mario, do you know what you're doing? Sir, we have a job to do. There we go. Because you can do this. So there's like all this stage going on the right side, but you can kind of just wall jump between the pole and the wall and make your way up really easy over here.
That's cool.
And also, infamously, if you have ever speedrun this game, you know that jumping across here and fighting the camera is really annoying, so you have to be very careful about that jump. And now, we have the boss fight. So as soon as this boss fight starts, I'm going to try and clip through the wall. I don't know if this might still work. We'll find out together. Oh, what? There we go. Oh, I almost got it. Okay. So the idea there is that you can kind of do the same thing as a moon clip, except we're using the damage from the boss instead, interrupting Mario's animation in just a way that he kind of shifts into the wall. And you can see that there's a lot of downtime during this boss fight. So what that allows me to do is go into Metro Kingdom, which is all rendered in the background, by the way. Like, all of the kingdom is still just kind of hanging out behind these walls. It lets me go into Metro Kingdom, grab a moon while I'm waiting for all of this stuff to happen, so that I don't have to collect it later in the daytime portion. It also lets us kind of reroute the kingdom in a way that we go to the shop, which can save us some time later because there's certain text boxes that appear depending on how many shops you visited and stuff. That, you know, it's just little minor time saves here and there that this new kind of... This is actually like the newest thing, the newest trick, I suppose, that's been found in Super Mario Odyssey that has saved us time. So, and that was about a year and a half ago.
How long
now.
ago?
Yeah.
Year and a half? Oh, nice.
January of 24, I believe. Yeah. So,
okay, yeah.
You know, things are still being discovered. I never lose hope that speedrunners will keep finding something. As long as somebody's still looking, there's things to be found.
Right.
I mean, Super Mario 64 is a great example because of the whole canonless, or sorry, not canonless, carpetless adventure.
Carpetless, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching that like a hawk when that was all happening.
Oh, yeah. And it's been a meme for such a long time, like, oh yeah, bro, just do carpetless, just do carpetless. You're like, yeah, okay, that TAS only thing that nobody's ever going to do. Yeah, right, buddy. And then now it's reality. So
and now it's real.
That's something we call scooter clip. Basically, the scooter actually does have like a hidden motion control. You can tilt your controller to affect how much it swerves, how much it tilts. So we use that in conjunction with a tap to on the control stick to get Mario's big fat nose in the cage just enough. Our good friend, the bench friend.
Landed right on the park bench. That's amazing.
Yeah, can you imagine being that guy just sitting there, minding your own business, having a cup of coffee, and suddenly short, stout Italian man just plops right on the bench and takes a seat?
He didn't even react either. He was just like, sup.
Yeah. city's pretty depressing, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's something along the lines of that are actually his dialogue.
Oh, wow.
It's nice to have a friend in this big city. It's kind of lonely. All right. So this is the part where I would diverge. That moon that I just got in the girder there, that would be the moon that we would have picked it up while we were out of bounds earlier. But we have to get it now, so that means we're going to come in and do this instead of the shop. But this is where they reconverge again. We're going to go into this sub-area. Oh, right. I forgot. There are bullet Williams, ammunition Williams in here, too. How could I forget?
Yay! We got more.
These ones wear hats.
Nice.
Which makes them hard to capture. But if you do that setup right there, basically what I did there, I had to manipulate the cycles for the bullet bills because they're based on where the camera's pointing. I threw Cappy up, and that kind of put Cappy in a direct line with the bullet bill in between, like back to Mario. And what that does is that as Cappy hits the bullet bill and then has to come back through the bullet bill in order to get back to Mario, right? If something is wearing a hat, you typically can't capture it without throwing Cappy at it twice. But because there's enough kind of space and time built up traveling through the enemy, if that makes sense, you can do what's called an instant capture by positioning Cappy on the other side and having it come back through Mario like that. Which is obviously a little bit faster way to capture things. That's why you'll typically see me use spin throws to capture enemies, because it'll effectively accomplish the same thing. Put Cappy behind the enemy so that it comes back through it and does the instant capture. Now, if I can get this sub-area, I'll be impressed with myself. Okay, well, it's already done, so... there is a way to get these moons in reverse order. That would have been really flashy to show off, but my spin pound didn't come out, so... I guess we'll just have to do
It's all right.
this normally, you know?
The movement is still really cool to watch, though.
It is very crisp, yeah. I do love moving in this game. It's very, very fun. It makes me wonder. I feel like I have this conversation just about every time I come on the GDQ show, but, like, Nintendo does a pretty good job of, like, one-upping themselves, right? You think about, like, Mario Kart
agreed.
8, and how it was, like, the band's all here. Like, the entire cast plus some extras from other franchises are here in the karting world, and we have, like, 96 million tracks. How can you one that up? Well, apparently Mario Kart in the open world is the answer. It's like, how do they come up with this? I would have never been able to come up with this. Super Smash Brothers is another good example. Like, Ultimate is, like, literally the band is all here. It makes you wonder, like, what... You know, Mario's been everywhere. He's been to space. He's had all these, like, quirky companions. Like, where does Mario go from here? Like, what can they possibly do to make it unique?
Into another dimension.
Now we're talking. Speaking of Donkey Kong Bonanza, you were talking about Donkey Kong 64. That's we're less than 2 weeks away. No, I think we're about 2 weeks away.
Oh yeah, that's coming out soon. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
It's being called a spiritual successor to this game. You know, if you've watched the trailer, for many reasons, I would say very valid. But yeah, you better believe I'll be playing that. Made by the same studio as Odyssey as well, from what I understand. So I am very excited. All right, Snow. This is one of the smaller kingdoms, only 10 moons required. We are going to be going out of bounds a lot. We're going to be doing some things that we probably shouldn't be doing. Just don't tell John Nintendo, and we'll be fine, I think.
Right, my dad works at Nintendo, so...
Oh, for real?
No.
You never know.
I just had to keep... I love memes. I have to keep the meme up.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page. Yeah, this kingdom's a little bit weird. It can kind of feel slow because it's all very segmented. It's broken up, like the outside world is not available until you clear the story area, and then this area down here has like a bunch of different hallways you can go down. I'm gonna just quickly do another moon clip here, setting up a quick backflip to clip through that wall. This one only saves about 2 seconds, but it just lets you cut the corner and enter through the door through the back like that.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It does look cool. I love when I can pull off the moon clips. Absolutely. So we do this sub area first. It's all on a cycle, so that triple jump was timed off of that moving block so that Mario just gets a whack ton. I was trying to think of a word that didn't... Think of other words that might go in front of ton. I was trying to think of a substitute.
A whole ton. A whole ton.
A whole ton. Just no prefix necessary. A whole ton of momentum to get up onto that little archway. But I think the more interesting sub area is the one that's about to come. So let's see if I can do it. We're going into the Goomba one on the right side. Now there's a hidden moon in every one of these and a story moon. We're actually going to grab the story moon first. Wait for the cutscene to play. And the reason we're doing the story moon first is because we have to warp away from the other one, and you'll see why in a second. I'm going to turn the camera around. Oh, and Mario just kind of stopped moving. That's cool. There we go. And then... Very nice. First try.
Well done.
So what I was doing there is I was using the heads-up display. There's like Chinese characters telling you how to move the camera and stuff. I was using the heads-up display to line up with a piece of the background so that I was facing it at a very specific angle. And now I have to do this jump. Very nice. Also a place you're not supposed to be able to go. But yeah, so the reason that we had to grab the story moon first and not do them in the reverse order is because that's a wall that kind of collapses down if you push a button from the outside. But if you don't push that button, you just get stuck in there, and the only way out is to warp. So we kind of have to do it in that order. Otherwise, bad things will happen. But don't worry, we've already figured out the routing, obviously, and we're already out of Snow Kingdom. We're on to the next one. Honestly, for the amount of times that we go out of bounds, I am impressed with myself for how many that we've gotten. Most of my attempts don't go quite this well, I would say, in terms of trick success. So you guys are getting a real treat today.
We got Dangers on his S game today.
That's right. Movement, could use a little work, but we're not going to talk about that.
Nah, the movement's slick. I mean, I'm loving it. I'm having a blast watching this because this is way better than I can do.
Many such cases in the speedrun community, I suppose, right?
Yep.
All right. Seaside used to be when I first started speedrunning this game. This was like, oh yeah, okay, we're in Seaside. It's nice and calm. There's no tricks. There's nothing crazy to do. Like we can kind of just take a break. You spend half of it just like swimming as a fish. Like it's super easy. Not such the case anymore. Of course, we found a way to go out of bounds in this kingdom as well, and we're going to do it twice because why not? So we're just grabbing a couple on the beach, and now we're going to spend the rest of the time in the water. Do this little cat bounce into the water, grab the fish, and this is going to be our first clip out of bounds. We call this fish and dips. Chefs in the chat.
What a name.
There we go.
Very
so
nice.
basically, I just position myself behind that chest in just the right spot, and then I shake to attack with the fish with good timing. And for some reason, it just opens the chest and pops the fish out of bounds, so we can grab the moon from out of bounds, which means that we don't have to do all the swimming and navigating through the inbounds portion. We can just kind of cut all the corners. And now we're back inbounds. But not for long. Don't worry. Don't worry. If you have a yearning for the void, it's coming once again. So there's an invisible barrier that kind of like pushes against you if you try to swim against it. But what you can do is you can push the fish out a little bit, uncapture, bring Mario back inbounds, and then recapture, and it kind of resets that boundary once again, so you can push a little bit further. far enough that you can just kind of go past where the floor stops having collision, and you find yourself out of bounds again. So
That was
grab
cool.
grab a couple moons out of bounds, and away we go.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing a message in the chat about the Switch 2. So I am actually playing this on the Switch 2 instead of the Switch 1. There is no fundamental difference in how the game plays, but the Switch 2 does have some optimizations. It's, you know, just a better machine. So it loads about 45 seconds faster, which in console speedrun matters, because we don't cut out the loads or anything, because we would have no really accurate way of determining that, I suppose. And a lot of consoles tend to come pretty standard in how they perform across the board, rather than PCs, which obviously would differ quite a lot. So, playing on Switch 2 is the fastest way. The current leaderboard setup is that they are on separate leaderboards until more people can kind of get their hands on the Switch 2. Mario?
I also noticed that you are playing on a different language, and I'm going to just make the direct assumption, because it's kind of a meme now, why are you playing on this language? I'm assuming it's faster.
It is indeed faster, yes.
Is it just text scrolling, or is there another reason for it?
Yes, so all of the little cutscenes where we're in the Odyssey, Cappy is talking to you, and those text boxes will have different speeds depending on which language you're
faster,
in.
yeah.
Or just like the number of text boxes will be different. Now, I got to pull us back to the run for a second. There was a gigantic rectangle that I purposefully avoided touching just now, and that's because that's another one of those like mid-game bosses. We don't want to do that. Too slow. So we had to jump around the arena to avoid doing that so that we can make our way through the kingdom. Now, we're in a state of the kingdom that is very borked, because the game is definitely not expecting you to be able to get around that loading zone at all. So we are effectively skipping all of the story moons that exist in this kingdom, and a byproduct of that is that a lot of enemies and a lot of like platforms and stuff that would normally exist in this kingdom are just not going to be there. So you're going to see some very clever platforming to try and get around those shortcomings of the game, which really they should have been more considerate, but it's fine. The first one being that there's usually some potoboos or lava bubbles swimming around in the pink goop down here, but they're not here. So in order for us to get from this salt island over there, we're going to have to get a little bit clever. See if I can do it. Oh, I got the vault and everything. Perfect.
Nice.
Now I'm going to grab that heart on purpose, something I haven't mentioned yet, but whenever you grab a moon in this game, if you are not full health, the game will restore you to full health. But it also comes with a little bit of a cutscene, like a little bit of an animation where it's like, oh, here you go, here's your health back, and it like refills your bar for you. That's slow. So it's actually faster for us to pick up that heart hidden there than it is to wait for that little animation to play.
That makes sense.
And now some more clever platforming to get over here. We're going to grab this golden turnip. Unfortunately, we can't heal ourselves here, so we're just going to let it heal. Bring this turnip with us. Over the gap.
Very nice.
Make ourselves a double golden turnip stew. Each one of these is a moon. Really cool routing. I love the routing of being able to like bring that turnip from like all the way over there, all the way from downtown, basically.
That was cool. Yeah.
Get both of them in the soup pot at the same time. 2 moons right next to each other. We go into this shop. Now, I was saying that if we were able to get that clip in Metro, we would have saved time in text boxes. All of those 3 text boxes that happened before the shop UI opened up, those would not have been there because just the way that the game works, basically. Like, the shop has already explained everything it needs to me. But because we've only visited 3 shops, it's still got explaining to do, unfortunately, so. All right, now here is another example of we have not progressed the story far enough for the game to know where we're supposed to go. This is a very scary jump. Let's see if I can get it. Nice.
Whoa. Yo, well done.
Yeah, so you might be wondering,
Look at that.
maybe, why are those blocks there? What are they doing there?
Invisible blocks in Mario has been a thing for a long time.
That is true, but they seem in like a very weird place. They're just kind of like hanging out, floating above the lava for no reason. And the reason is actually because there is a bunch of geometry there that does show up once you progress the story. And those blocks make perfect sense in the context of that geometry. But instead of removing the blocks along with the geometry, they just left the blocks there, which is really handy for us because we're able to make that jump without taking any damage or anything. So we take advantage of it. Why not? So we are almost done in Luncheon. We've warped back to the Odyssey, but we need one more moon. So I'm just going to take a leap of faith. Grab this one right here. And I'm going to stamp on the Scarecrow to get my hat back before the timer so that I can get it back faster, and away we go. That was actually a really cool, really clean Luncheon.
Very nice.
I would say the early game run killer, aside from the trick at the beginning that I mentioned with the whole timer thing, is probably Wooded. Wooded is probably the hardest kingdom in the game. Late game run killer is absolutely this kingdom. There's just so much going on. There's so much precise platforming that can go wrong. It's very easy to lose a lot of time in that kingdom, so I'm pretty satisfied with how clean that ended up being. And now we truly get a little bit of a break because Ruined Kingdom, while the boss fight is very magnificent, very cool, you know, we get to face off against Spyro the Dragon, but gigantic. It's not really a whole lot going on for the speedrunning. Like, you learn how to do this fight once, and you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. If this were a marathon, this is where I would say we have time for a few donations, but how's it going over there, Dane? How are we feeling? What's the vibe? What's cooking?
Good. It's good. I'm chilling. I'm mostly packed for SGDQ. Am I going to be seeing you there, by the way?
Oh, you bet. Yep, I'll be there on
Oh,
Saturday.
heck yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'll be there Thursday night because I'm working the event, so I'm got to be getting stuff set up and everything, and helping out with stuff. But it's going to be a fun week. I'm really excited for some stuff that's going to be happening during that week. It'll be a good time, and I get to hang out with Dangers in person. We got to get a picture, by the way. We didn't get a picture last time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So we got to get a picture this time so that we can make the Double Danger special real. We can have a memento of it.
That's right. Holding badges and all that, you know, of course.
Heck yeah.
Got to make it happen. Yeah, I'll be arriving
not the
on
Spyro I remember.
Yeah, no, he's a little bit more intimidating. I don't know if Spyro has lightning powers either. I don't think that's.
He's fire and ice. From the first 3 games. Well, ice was in the games 2 and 3. I remember there being more games after that. I remember playing one of them. I remember basically nothing of them because they weren't good. But I don't think he had lightning.
No, one element he missed out on, I guess.
I was gonna make the joke earlier when you were jumping around the lava. That area reminded me of the Lake of Rot from Elden Ring, and now you're fighting a giant lightning dragon, and I'm like, oh my god, the Elden Ring comparison just keeps coming.
Super Mario Odyssey predicted Elden Ring. What can I say?
It really did. It's like because there's like this big open pool of lava. And I was just looking at it going, oh my god, it's Lake of Rot all over again.
Yep. So there's our lightning dragon. Spyro is defeated. It truly is an auto-scroller. The idea is the same every time. The attacks are going to look the same every time. You got to pull the swords in the same places every time. So this is kind of the calm before the storm, because now we head into Bowser's Kingdom, which, you know, if you're on pace, we're heading into the final 2 kingdoms. This is where the nerves kind of get to you. You're like, oh, I'm on pace. We're getting to the end. There's still some tricky platforming going on. This is kind of your, you know, breathe in, breathe out moment before we get into the tricky stuff again. Obviously, Odyssey speedrunners are theorizing a ruined skip because it's like the most useless kingdom in the game, and it would be very nice to skip if we could one day, save 3 minutes, but nothing so far.
Oh wow, 3 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, that's about how long that kingdom is, so.
I was actually gonna ask that earlier. Was like, is there any theoretical skips that you would like to see obtained? But that, yeah, 3 minutes would definitely be the top contender for that.
For sure. I kind of like that you have to play all of the game to some degree. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
Yeah.
having every kingdom represented does, you know, afford you being able to do all the tricks that are in all of them. But you know, as an any percent speedrunner, I'm not going to say no to any kind of time save that we can find. So
Yeah, there is an irony to, you know, as speedrunners, we do our best to skip as much of the game as we can, but then at some point you sort of crest over the hill and you skip so much of the game that the run's no longer fun anymore.
yeah. Arbitrary code execution type runs come to mind, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm even thinking of just like runs that have like major skips where you can just like go to the very end of the level without having to play anything else. Like there's like skips like that in BioShock and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a truly ironic thing that we want to skip as much of the game as we can, but not too much.
All right, so Bowser's Kingdom is kind of our structured kingdom. The game is pretending that this is like the last place that we'll be, so it's throwing a bunch of like story content at us. Oh, I messed it up.
Oh no.
Unlucky. So I'm gonna be kind of caught in a war zone for a second. Yeah, Bowser's Kingdom's throwing a bunch of story content at us. You'll also notice that the hollowed out circles that I was mentioning in the top left corner are absent now. As we collect moons, it's just gonna fill with moons, but there's no hollow circles to fill, and it's because the game is trying to say, like, you're about to show down against Bowser, like, this is the end. You know, spoiler alert, there is one more kingdom, so those hollowed out circles will show themselves after the fact, but we are going to pick up 2 moons along the way. The first one being right here. Not like that. Hold on. And we're going to utilize that same technique that we did in Sand Kingdom, the dram strat. Basically throwing Cappy back to this pylon so that we can grab the moon and then just warp right to it when we're done. And now the next and only appearance of the bunnies aside from the very beginning. We have to fight 2 of them. The first one is Harriet. So she's going to throw bombs at us. We can position Cappy behind. Oh, I didn't get it. That's weird. There was a strategy I was going to try and do there where I throw both bombs at the same time, and then something kind of quirky happens where one just stays floating in the air and lets us skip this second phase, basically. But I didn't get it, so that's okay. We'll just kind of carry on. And then the second one that we have to do is against Topper again, which is the same one that we did at the very beginning. And the strategy is going to be largely the same. Knock hats off until he spins, jump on him to win the game. So
Nice. And bombs do make this run qualify for Crosshair even more, because I say it in the opening pitch. Lasers, rockets, grenades, paintballs, and shotgun shells. I'd say bombs count as grenades. It fits.
I'd say so, yeah. I think
It's
she's
real.
like the whole, I guess, story arc behind these rabbit guys is that they're the wedding planners for that's okay. I guess we have to chase them down, that's fine. They're the wedding planners for Bowser and Peach's wedding. So the bombs are the pyrotechnics. I don't actually know what the rest of them even do. I'll be honest. I don't know what the rest of the wedding planners are even responsible
Story stuff.
Just, you know, it's just stuff. Just wedding stuff. You wouldn't understand. All right, so that's another story moon. After we collect this story moon, we're going to be going up to the top of the kingdom where our final boss fight of the kingdom is going to take place. If you've been counting at home, that is our 4th moon. 5, 6, 7 from the multi-moon. We need 1 more to make 8. So we're going to pick that up on our way. And hopefully I can show off some slick platforming in the process. This is one of my favorite bits in the whole game, I would say. Very nerve-wracking for it to be at the end, but... I'm going to go around this wall. Yep, get in there.
Nice.
And we could go in that pipe, but... I like to do a little bit of that. It's just a tiny bit faster to do that. rather than wait for the pipe to kind of like, you know, the camera has to move to where the pipe is going to be, and then the pipe comes out of the ground, and
right.
very, very difficult movement to do what I just did, but it does save a little bit of time. And then we can just use the bird and flick our way up the wall really quick. And into the Robo Brutal fight. So if you've ever seen a speedrun of this game, you're probably familiar with this fight as well. Now, the idea is that you use one of those birds and you flick the bombs at the legs, and the legs break. We don't have time for any of that. We're just going to climb up the side of the leg instead and ground pound the bubble. And we are going to get blown back by the boss as part of their kind of transition. Each time that we hit a bubble, the boss really wants us to stay far away from it. But, you know, as long as we time our cap throws and dives and stuff, we can get back on top. Now, the boss's legs are kind of like rainbow colored. You might be able to see them underneath there. While that is true, the boss is invulnerable, so I can't do anything. I have to wait for that phase to end and ground pound right after. Position myself right here and dive, and one more ground pound finishes the job. So,
Nice. Well done.
if you have played this casually, you know that that boss does not take that short amount of time at all. Because every time you get blown back, you're back on the ground, and you have to pick up another bird and start the whole process over again. And I think the game kind of wants you to stay in the bird for the fight, and instead of ground pounding, you kind of have to like peck it a bunch of times. So yeah, it's the speedrun versus the reality of that particular fight is very jarring. I would say, like, if somebody really loves this game and they've never seen a speedrun before, they're like, "What did I just witness?"
You didn't believe it. That was actually a good time because there was a question in chat for anybody that's like dealing with hand pain of any sort or any kind of joint or muscle aches. How easy is it to do these tricks, and how much damage would it do to your hand? Because you're using a lot of motion control stuff.
Definitely.
So like, is it easy to kind of get into this or no?
I would say that if you're familiar with like other platforming speedruns and you're familiar with the kind of hand-eye coordination that's required to press inputs that quickly, all that you really do to add the shakes in is kind of just, you kind of get used to the optimized version of what that's supposed to be. Like, a lot of people think that they have to like do one of these, like slam the ground kind of things, but the controller is pretty sensitive, so you can get pretty good just kind of like learning how to, you know, snap your wrists a little bit and just kind of give the controller a little bit of a movement, and it's usually fine. I have heard some people claim that they have some hand pain playing the game, which is, you know, of course unfortunate, but I guess the only way that you would know is if you tried it yourself, I suppose. And of course, you can also choose how far you want to take it, right? Like, you don't have to get to, say, this level. You're welcome to play in a more casual way where perhaps you're not rolling as much or doing the motion controls as much, and you'll still be able to get a pretty decent time. So, all right, so the secret final kingdom, we've arrived. This is the Moon Kingdom. There is no more moon collecting to do anymore. We just have to go to the final sequence of the game. And the game does give you this little cave that we're supposed to be going through. I say supposed to be because, of course, we're not going to. We're speedrunning. It is very cool. It's got really cool music. There's lots of cool platforming. There's lava, another boss fight, but we can kind of just come around the back. Yeah, I didn't think I was high enough there.
Ooh.
That's okay. I'll try again. Kind of sneak up the wall like that, and we're up on the bridge, and we're on the way to the cathedral. This was actually literally a day one trick. Like, the ability to skip that cave was found virtually the very first day. Nintendo never touched it, never patched it out.
Oh, wow.
Inshallah. We are very happy that they did not, because that would be about 3.5 minutes. So, all right. And so our second showdown with Bowser, we can do a cheeky little spin throw to get the hat to come with us right into Bowser's face here. So we punch him for the first phase. The only thing different about this fight is that he is going to throw some fire at us in between. But it's a lot more intimidating than it actually looks. It's just a ground scan, so as long as Mario's not touching the ground, he can't get hurt by the fire. Same.
Well, there is
principle
one
applies.
other change. He's wearing a tuxedo now, so.
That's true. Yeah, we did have to change for the wedding. We couldn't show up in our usual drab, right? So.
Exactly.
I actually find when I was learning this game, I found this version of the fight to be quite a bit easier because if you remember in the Cloud Kingdom, I kind of had to like punch him. He would like fly off to a platform and immediately jump, and I would have to chase after him. Whereas this phase really does give you a lot of extra time to kind of just sit here and wait. Damage boost. So that I can grab that hat without getting hit by any of the others. He gets a little cheeky, couple tail swings, but nothing that I'm not prepared for. And the game is done. We beat it. Yay, yippee, the boss is dead. Just kidding. There's going to... The moon is exploding. We have to escape. And, you know, when I first played this game, this was like my favorite part. I was like, wait, Bowser's just lying on the ground, and I have to roll up to it. I know what this means. I get to capture Bowser. This is so cool. So yeah, we do an escape sequence. The moon is exploding. We got to get out of here. Bowser, Peach, and Mario, they got to make their grand escape. There is a little 2D section coming up. That kind of showcases...
This part I know.
Yeah.
This part's cool.
There's a 2D section coming up that we're supposed to go through and navigate our way through, but I'm going to try a little something cheeky here.
Oh?
Let's try again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can kind of just jump up the
Nicely
wall
done.
like that.
Just wall climbed it. Nice.
Yeah. Saves you having to go in at all. It saves about 7 seconds. It's also one of the hardest tricks. I made that look a lot easier than it actually is. And it's right at the end of the run. Basically, we're doing a trick of the difficulty level of Dino Skip Skip at the beginning with that that thing that I kept bonking against the wall. But you have to basically land on a very small section, not once, but like 3 times. Very difficult, especially like right at the end. The fact that I was able to get it that quick is honestly nothing short of a miracle. But honestly, all the tricks have been going really well today.
Yeah, I agree. This run's been phenomenal.
And now this pillar room, we just kind of go around. Shaking the controller lets Bowser throw fireballs, so we kind of do that from a distance so that we can be prepared to run our way to the next pillar. And once we smash open this block, we're going to hop into the escape pylon. And as soon as that escape pylon shoots off into space, that will be time. And time.
GG's. I think that's a sub 1 hour.
Let's go.
Pretty sure.
I did have my timer open.
very
I
nice.
got 59:22. So
Nice.
I'll take a sub hour for a showcase on GDQ. That's
Heck
great.
yeah.
Let's go.
That was excellent. Yeah, so tell everybody where they can find you and give us any shout outs you want to send our way.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'll start with the shout outs. I know we talked a little bit about the hand paint thing, and that's something that I've considered a little bit. And if you're willing to give it a shot in lieu of that, please do. I think that Super Mario Odyssey is one of the most approachable speed games. Through my 6 years of streaming this game, I've seen a lot of people kind of grow their interest playing it. And the community is huge. The community is very supportive. The community is always kind of yearning to improve this game to some capacity. There's a lot of really good resources out there. So my shout out goes to the Super Mario Odyssey community. If you go to the speedrun.com page, you can join the Discord. Resources to your heart's content. And many people to answer your questions that are very passionate about this game, just like I myself am. As for me, my name is Dangers. You can find me at twitch.tv/Dangers. I'm actually kind of on the grind for this right now, so if you want to continue watching my journey, I'm trying to get PBs in this category because the Switch 2 just came out and we get free time saves, so, you know, a brand new reason to boot the game up again and give it a go, so...
Very nice. Well, thank you for coming on the show and making the Double Danger special meme real. I was so looking forward to this, and I was like, I think it's time. I think it's time we get Dangers on the show. So thank you for being here and showing this off.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. We finally did it.
Yeah. we finally made it happen. Yay. Well, folks, that is going to be it for Crosshair here on the GDQ Hotfix. But the good news is Hotfix ain't over yet. We've still got one more show for you. Stick around because Speedruns from the Crypt is up next, so stick around for some spoopy speedruns. We'll be back in 3 weeks with another episode of Crosshair. We normally are back every 2 weeks, but remember, SGDQ 2025 is next week starting this Sunday, and it is going to be a banger of an event, so make sure you tune in and watch all the runs that are going to be showcased during that. And it's all raising money for Doctors Without Borders, so definitely good time to throw some money toward a wonderful cause. So yeah, we'll see you back here in 3 weeks with another episode of Crosshair. Stick around after the break, and remember, no matter what your dreams, goals, or hopes are in this world, always keep them in your crosshair. We'll see you next time.